Nyandarua County from year 2022 and 2023 to date. Mr. Speaker, sir, community health promoters, CHPs, form the first line of contact between households and the healthcare system, offering essential preventive and promotive health services at the community level. Despite the critical role, CHPs in Nyandarua County continue to face challenges related to delayed disbursement of stipends. Further, in the county's supplementary budget for the financial year 2024 and 2025, on allocation of approximately Kenya shillings 3 million, initially budgeted for the payment of CHP's stipends, was reallocated to other expenditure items. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number one, the total amount of budgetary allocations made to support community health promoters, CHPs in Nyandarua County, from the financial year 2022-2023 to date, indicating both national and county government contributions. Number two, the number of community health promoters currently engaged in Nyandarua County, showing their sub-county distribution, training status, and whether they have been formally absorbed under the National Community Health Framework. Number three, the total amount paid to each CHPs in Nyandarua County since the inception of the program, the current monthly stipend amount, frequency of disbursements, and any pending arrears. Number four, the rationale and circumstances surrounding the reallocation of approximately 3 million meant for CHP stipends in the county's supplementary budget for year 2024-2025, indicating the current status of those funds. Number five, the accountability and implementation mechanism in place to ensure timely and transparent payment of stipends, and describe how funds are transferred from the county treasury to the respective community health units. Number six, the role of donor or partner funding, including contributions through the DANIDA support to level 1 CHVs and NG grants, indicating whether the county government has plans to harmonize all funding streams within the one framework. Finally, the county government's sustainability plan for the CHP program beyond donor support, including budgetary provisions for future financial years and measures to ensure the program's continuity. Senator John Muhia Medhu, MP Senator for Nyandarua County. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kibwana, you may proceed to read your two statements that had been dropped.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The first statement is regarding the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims regarding the annual Hajj pilgrimage. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of national concern regarding the management of the annual Hajj pilgrimage by the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, SUPKEM. Mr. Speaker, sir, over the past several months, many Muslims, including respected...
Senator Joyce Korir, you're out of order. Kindly sit appropriately. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Over the past several months, many Muslims, including respected clerics, have called for elections to reconstitute the Council's leadership on grounds of poor planning and facilitation of Muslims attending the Hajj pilgrimage, as well as general concerns about mismanagement of funds. The situation has escalated into public demonstrations and, if left unaddressed, threatens the credibility of SUPKEM, which has for a long time empowered Muslims and acted as a central voice of social cohesion, interfaith dialogue, and peaceful coexistence among communities of the various faiths across the county. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number one, the actions taken by the Registrar of Societies to address the situation at SUPKEM, including whether the registrar has initiated investigations into allegations of mismanagement of funds, particularly in relation to the planning and facilitation of Muslims attending the Hajj pilgrimage. Number two, the number of individuals facilitated by SUPKEM to undertake the Hajj pilgrimage from 2020 to date and obtain information on the specific challenges or complaints reported by the individuals. Number 3, the measures in place to ensure that SUPKEM continues offering its services, including facilitation of Hajj pilgrimage, pending resolution of the prevailing wrangles. Finally, the reforms under consideration to enhance transparency and accountability within SUPKEM and other faith-based organizations to prevent recurrence of similar governance crises. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll read the second one. It's a statement on the well-being of adolescents in urban centers. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on a matter of national concern regarding the well-being of adolescents in urban centers in the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, recent studies include findings published by the World Health Organization, WHO, and Community Health Assessment in Kenya show that teenagers experiencing loneliness are significantly more likely to suffer sleep-related problems such as insomnia, irregular sleep patterns, and daytime fatigue. Research indicates that loneliness is a major risk factor for poor mental health outcomes among young people. In fact, a 2023 study by the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, found that, found that adolescents in Nairobi who reported persistent loneliness were twice as likely to experience insomnia compared to their peers. In urban centers, such as Nairobi, where rapid urbanization has strained family support structures and limited access to safe recreational spaces, many adolescents report feelings of isolation despite being surrounded by large populations. Such social emotional distress has been shown to interfere with natural sleep cycles, lowering academic performance, weakening immunity, and increasing vulnerability to depression and anxiety. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, measures to strengthen mental health awareness and resilience building programs in schools. Number 2, strategies to expand youth-friendly counseling services and mental health support within primary health care. And finally, plans to invest in safe recreational and social for adolescents across Nairobi and other urban centers to mitigate loneliness and promote holistic well-being. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments on those requests for statements for not more than 15 minutes. So if you get an opportunity to speak, honorable senators, you will do so for not more than 3 minutes. The Honorable Wafula Wakoli.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa nafasi hii ambayo umenitunuku kuweza kuchangia hoja ambayo imeletwa husiana na madaktari mashinani ambao wanahudumia Wakenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati umefika lazima tusemezane ukweli katika jumba hili. Mheshimiwa Spika, tumeweza kuenda pembe mbalimbali za humu nchini katika kamati ya afya. Tumekuwa Makueni, Kitui, Machakos. Mheshimiwa Spika, tumeweza vile vile kuzuru kaunti ya Busia, na barua pepe ambazo zinakuja katika kamati yetu ya afya kutoka kaunti mbalimbali ikiwemo Taita Taveta, Turukana na kadhalika. Mheshimiwa Spika, madaktari mashinani hawa, Mheshimiwa Spika, wengi zaidi ya miezi 10 hawajapata pesa zao kutoka mkoba wa kaunti za humu nchini. Na kile kinachohuzunisha Mheshimiwa Spika ni kwamba baadhi ya viongozi wa kaunti hizi tunaona wakizunguka humu nchini, wengine wametia fora katika hafla za kisiasa wakijitapa na kujipiga vifua, ili hali madaktari mashinani, Mheshimiwa Spika, wanatoa miayo wakilia, wakiujuliza Mungu wao yuko wapi. Wakati umefika Mheshimiwa Spika, wengine wanatembea huku na huku wakisema nimetembea. Mheshimiwa, imefika wakati hawa watu waache kutembea na wakimbizwe mbio sana. Na kamati husika za afya, Mheshimiwa Spika, kamati za kiuchumi na fedha, Mheshimiwa Spika, kamati za bajeti, Mheshimiwa Spika, ili iweze kubainika wazi iwapo madaktari hawa masuala yao yamewekwa katika bajeti ama wao ni kama kupe katika kaunti za humu nchini, kwa sababu wanatembea wakipeana matibabu, wakipeana maelezo, wakipeana moyo katika watu wetu mashinani. Lakini viongozi katika kaunti hizi hawatilii maanani tiba mashinani. Na iwapo nchi lazima iwe na watu ambao wako na afya, watu ambao wako na amani, watu ambao wako na mustakabali mwema, lazima walipwe pesa zao wakati unaostahili. Sasa mimi kama mwanachama wa kamati ya afya vile vile nitamrai mwenyekiti wangu kwamba kupitia kinara ama muungano wa magavana waweze vile vile kujitokeza wazi na kila mtu ajieleze iwapo wanalipa madaktari hawa ama hawalipwi, wakiwemo watu wangu wa Bungoma ma CHPs ambao katika miezi 9 hivi hawajalipwa pesa. Sasa siwezi watetea wengi kule nje na wangu vile vile wanalia. Wote kwa pamoja ni Wakenya na lazima tuwatetee ili waishi vizuri kama Wakenya wengine. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Munyahaji Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia maombi ya kauli kutoka kwa Seneta Hamida kuhusiana na masuala ya haji na chama cha SUPKEM. Mheshimiwa Spika, ibada ya haji ni katika nguzo 5 za dini ya Kiislamu. Kwa hivyo ni ibada ambayo ni muhimu sana kwa Waislamu na inagharimu pesa nyingi kugharamia safari ya kutoka hapa mpaka Maka katika nchi ya Saudi Arabia. Mheshimiwa Spika, katika miaka hivi punde kumekuwa na malalamiko mengi kutoka kwa wasafiri wanaokwenda kwa ibada ya haji kule Maka. Malalamiko hao ni kwamba usimamizi wa swala hili na shirika hili la SUPKEM, Mheshimiwa Spika, imekuwa ni shida sana na kumekuwa na utepetevu mwingi kiasi ambacho wanakosa kufanya ibada hii kwa amani kwa sababu ya mambo ambayo wanafanywa. Kwa mfano Mheshimiwa Spika, wale ambao walikwenda haji mwaka huu mnamo mwezi wa 4, wengi walikosa usafiri wa kutoka pale mji wa Maka kwenda mji wa Mina na kutoka kwenda mji wa Mina mpaka mji wa Arafa ambako kule ndio ibada inafanyika. Vile vile Mheshimiwa Spika, malazi, kwa sababu kule wanalala kwenye mahema. Yale malazi waliopewa Wakenya Mheshimiwa Spika yalikuwa duni sana, ambapo Wakenya wengi walikuwa wanalala chini kwenye magodoro, wakati wale wengine ambao wamekuja kutoka nchi, kwa mfano nchi jirani ya Tanzania, walikuwa wanapewa vitanda na wanapewa makazi ambayo yanastahili na chakula vile mastahili makazi yale Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, imeonekana kwamba wazi kwamba SUPKEM kwa sasa hawawezi kudhibiti swala hili, na ipo haja ya serikali kutumia balozi kule Saudi Arabia kupanga kamati tofauti na kamati hii ya SUPKEM, kwa sababu tumeona miaka mingi SUPKEM wanafanya hii kazi kwa usiri mkubwa. Vile vile utapata kwamba zile ada zinazolipishwa Mheshimiwa Spika ziko juu kuliko zile ambazo watu katika nchi nyingine wanalipishwa, na hali ya kwamba huduma ambazo tunapata kule Saudi Arabia ni duni kuliko zile ambazo wengine wanapata. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ipo haja, kwa sababu SUPKEM ni shirika, kuna mashirika mengi ya Kiislamu, kuna CIPK, kuna mengi mengine ambayo yanaweza kufanya kazi hii. Kwa hivyo iwapo kutatakana kuwe na kamati, lazima kamati hii iwe ni watu tofauti tofauti. Hapa Kenya wanajiita SUPKEM, wakifika Saudi Arabia SUPKEM wanajiita Hajj Mission. Hajj Mission ni wale chairman wa SUPKEM, treasurer wa SUPKEM na secretary. Sasa itakuwaje hapa ni maafisa wa SUPKEM, kule Saudi Arabia wanajiita Hajj Mission, ambapo balozi, Mheshimiwa Spika, niachie dakika moja tena, balozi ya Kenya, mimi nilikwenda Saudi Arabia Jeddah mwaka 2023 na kamati ya leba hapa Jeddah. Tulikwenda Riyadh kwanza kwenye balozi, alafu tukaja Jeddah. Naomba dakika moja Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Faki, 30 seconds.
Asante. Kwa hivyo nilipokwenda Jeddah tulikwenda Riyadh na kamati ya leba, baadaye mimi nikaja Jeddah kuangalia masuala haya, na bahati nzuri nilikuwa na balozi Ogego ambaye ndiye alikuwa balozi wetu Saudi Arabia wakati ule, na akanieleza zile hali zinavyokuwa na kwamba malalamiko ya wananchi ambayo yako kuhusiana na swala la SUPKEM. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, tungependa kamati hii ilifuatilia hili swala hili kwa undani zaidi, kwa sababu hivi sasa walikuwa wametoa makataa ya mwezi wa 8 kwa wale ambao wanataka kusafiri haji mwakani mwezi wa 5 waweze kuwa wamelipa asilimia 50 ya zile gharama, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambao wengi kwa hakika Mheshimiwa, kwa hivi ambao uchumi hivi sasa huko hawawezi kutimiza sharti hilo. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ipo haja ya serikali kuingilia swala hili, kwa sababu wale wanatumia vibaya mamlaka ya serikali kule kwa balozi. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator, the Majority Leader.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I want to just make a quick comment on this statement by the Centre of Nairobi with regards to the status of ownership of Jamhuri Park in Nairobi. This is such a contentious issue. Remember, Jamhuri Park is near, Mr. Speaker, where a very significant development is being undertaken by the Ministry of Sports, Mr. Speaker, a signature project of this administration. Yet, even that project is riddled in controversy over ownership of that parcel of land, because there are private people who continue to lay claim on that particular parcel of land. I am aware, Mr. Speaker, that there is also a dispute going on between the forest nearby and a few investors and other public institutions such as churches near that particular place. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is one such matter that requires a very urgent attention of our Lands Committee to be able actually to address and sort this issue with finality, because this is an area that has been contested, whose ownership has been contested for quite a while. And it's quite unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that this has been allowed to permeate for long, despite the fact that you were told when this Artisasa system was introduced that all areas of high value, particularly those that are owned by members of the public, that is public institution and public land, were among the first to be booked. Yet you know for a fact, Mr. Speaker, that every president, so long as I recall from when I was a child, has attempted actually to clean up the records at Ministry of Land. I recall Minister Ngilu during President Kibaki's time spending nights at Ministry of Lands. Last administration, I think the president himself went there. And today we are being told that Jamhuri is still under contestation. If we do not sort this, Mr. Speaker, with the increasing pressure on the value of land, particularly in places, urban centers like Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, this may be a recipe for a civil war. Because if such matters are not attended to, Mr. Speaker, then people may resort to sort themselves out, which might not be a particularly good incident. Mr. Speaker, finally, just because I recalled this particular topic on public institutions and land ownership, it will be important when the committee returns a report on this project to tell us also the status of registration of public institutions, particularly schools, both primary, secondary, and TVET institutions across the country, because you know that is an area also that has been manipulated and many people don't follow to ensure that the ownership is settled, because at the end of the day, there's no particular benefit to individuals, and therefore sometimes people operate without a care in the world. Therefore, I hope this committee will sort that for us. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Speaker. The Speaker, I want to take it from where the Majority Leader has left on that matter that has been raised by Senator Sifuna. The Speaker, it's a very, very serious issue. Those of us who have had the opportunity to attend the activities that take place around Jamhuri will attest to the fact that this is a very important public facility. Not just for the Nairobi show. As Speaker, we remember that almost every Sunday, there are very genuine car dealers who do their trade on that ground. Now that this stadium, the Talanta Stadium, has been constructed, not near Jamhuri Park, but within Jamhuri Park, the Speaker, the appetite by land grabbers to annex some piece of land from the park and construct hotels so that they can get clients from people visiting the stadium, Mr. Speaker, we need to move with great speed. The Committee on Lands, chaired by Senator Faki, I think, really needs to move with great speed, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that that land is secured and the title for it, Mr. Speaker, is in safe hands. Mr. Speaker, not just that issue. There's an issue of public land and the need for this country to begin to respect the dignity and the sanctity of public property, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issues of railways. You know, the Kenya Railway, if there is a place that there is a rot in this country, Mr. Speaker, on matters land, it is the Kenya Railway. Everybody who wants to grab any piece of land, they rush to the Kenya Railway. Mr. Speaker, there is need for the committee. Faki, you have your job cut out for you. There is need to secure public land in this country. The Kenya Railway, Mr. Speaker, has pieces of land across the country, along the colonial rail line. And a lot of that land has already been grabbed and gone into private ownership. Mr. Speaker, this committee needs to move with speed and secure that public land, including land for dams across every county. Mr. Speaker, there used to be things called colonial dams, which had huge catchment areas. Those pieces of land have also been grabbed. The Committee for Lands must move on its own motion, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that these pieces of land are secured for the benefit of this generation and for posterity. Mr. Speaker, I support the statement.
Senator Chute.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kuongeza sauti yangu kwa statement ya Senator Sifuna. Mheshimiwa Spika, wiki jana kuna mtu alikuja kwangu akaniambia Jamhuri Park imekuwa list kwa someone ametoka pande Isli. So kusikia Senator Sifuna ameleta hiyo hoja, nimefurahi sana sana sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, komiti ya Faki washughulike, wawajibike, waite watu ambayo wanahusika na hiyo ardhi na wale watu wamejaribu kujenga kwa hiyo ardhi. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuanzia 2022 hii mambo ya queue ya ardhi imeenda mbio sana. Sana sana sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, railways, ardhi zote za railway karibu 80 to 90% imechukuliwa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na ukiuliza nani amechukua, wanakuambia uliza huko juu. Hii juu mahali iko si hatujui. Mheshimiwa Spika, na kanisa ya Katoliki ndio wako na ardhi kubwa sana ndani ya hii Kenya. Ardhi ya Katoliki haichukuliwi kwa sababu wenyewe wanaichunga. Ardhi ya railway ambayo ni dhamana na mali ya Wakenya milioni 50 zimebebwa. Lakini nataka komiti wafuatilie, waulize na waweke vikwazo. Kama kuna mtu amechukua ardhi ya railway, ardhi yote ya umma, siku yao inahesabika. Iko siku watawajibika, hata kama leo wako mahali ambaye wanaweza kudhulumu wa Kenya. Kuna siku wataulizwa na watawajibika. Mambo mengine, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kuhusu SUPKEM. SUPKEM sio mambo ya Haji peke yake, Mheshimiwa Spika. Wamekuwa wakora, wamekuwa politicians. Hawameacha kazi ya dini, wameanza kazi ya siasa. Wameenda Huruma, msikiti ya Huruma, wamelete tajiri kutoka Arabuni, karibu wachukue hiyo msikiti ya Huruma. Ati wanataka kujenga affordable housing. Namna gani utajenga affordable housing kwa msikiti? Unavunja msikiti, unavunja madrasa, unataka kujenga affordable housing. Na mpaka wakaenda kwa Mheshimiwa Rais, wakaambia tumeleta Waarabu matajiri kubwa kubwa, wavunje hapo, wajenge hiyo affordable housing. Hii SUPKEM wafanyie uchunguzi, hata ikiwezekana EACC waalikwe kwa hiyo maneno. Tangu SUPKEM mkubwa ameingia saa hii, SUPKEM imekuwa ni party ya siasa.
30 seconds, Honorable Senator.
Mheshimiwa Spika, saa ingine unasikia hata wanajiita SUPKEM UDA, kwa sababu wanajifanya wako ndani ya serikali, ndio wanaweza kunyang'anya mahali ya msikiti na madrasa yote. Kwa hivyo ningetaka committee waende, hata ikiwezekana waulize jukumu yao ya SUPKEM ni nini. Hawa kazi yao ni kuchunga mali ya msikiti, sio ardhi, sio yao, hakuna title imeandikwa kwa jina yao. Kwa hivyo ningependa ikiwezekana committee ifanye uchunguzi ya kutosha na ikuje na mambo ambaye itakuwa ya ukamilifu. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity to briefly comment on a couple of statements. One is a statement by Senator Sifuna. Mr. Speaker, I was listening to a song this morning by one of my favorite artists called Wycliffe Jean. In the song, and I'll invite all of us here to be able to Google it, it says, if I were president, or if I was elected president on a Friday, it says if I was elected president on Friday, I will be assassinated on Saturday, I'll be buried on Sunday, and then on Monday, life goes on. People move back and continue their life. Mr. Speaker, it is sad that in the 21st century, in a country where the citizens are woke, where we've got the internet, there is still room for a sacred deal to be carried out. This issue of Jamhuri Park has been in the news for quite some time. And the citizens of this republic are aware that there is a sacred deal happening to lease Jamhuri Park to some Chinese. That is ludicrous. Jamhuri Park is owned by the Kenya government. And it was set aside by our forefathers for recreation purposes. So it is something which is unheard of. And I want to request my brother, Senator Haji, Mohammed Haji, Faki, to be able to move expeditiously, to be able to unearth all that rot of that sacred land lease deal, because it is there. Someone somewhere is attempting to lease Jamhuri Park to be able to make money. And I want to remind everyone that it is all vanity. You know, at some point you'll go somewhere, you can own whatever you want to own, but one day you'll just leave it all on earth. So can we allow generations to be able to enjoy what our forefathers have left? People have encroached into the Nairobi forest, Ngong forest. In fact, now we're all choking with pollution because what had been set aside to be able to absorb all that pollution is now, we're now seeing luxury, 5-star hotels being built. Come on, enough. So, Mr. Speaker, this sacred land deal, the leasing of the land secretly, must come to an end. And I wish that Faki, Senator Faki, would be able to go to the lands office, not just invite the cabinet secretary here. Go to the land office, go to the Survey of Kenya, check the records. What we know and what we have known is that Jamhuri Park is a public asset owned by the government of Kenya.
Senator Chiranke.
Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues and Nairobi Senator to resist, Mr. Speaker, this intention to remove Jamhuri National Park or National Park from its rightful owners. Mr. Speaker, Article 67 and even the section on land is very clear that National Land Commission, the county government, and the national government are custodians of the land. Mr. Speaker, what I want to request is that it is very unfortunate. By the way, I want to inform the House, this disease of crabiosis is no longer within Nairobi. Even in Nandi, my people were killed the other day too because some individuals, powerful, want to grab land. My people are living like monkeys because multinationals have taken over land, Mr. Speaker. Even when you go to coast where you hail from, there are absentee landlords who are taking advantage of land. Your people are living as squatters, Mr. Speaker. This is a national crisis. I want to challenge Senator Faki, who is the chairperson of lands under this broad-based arrangement, to seize the matter. And I want to call upon the SG and the whips of the minority side to direct the chair of lands to do his job. And then from there we can report. We cannot, Mr. Speaker, as you have always told us, Mr. Speaker, in your wisdom, that we cannot be a house of lamentation. The chair of lands should report on Jamhuri Park, Senator Sifuna, by next week. By next week, Mr. Speaker. So that we or face the party disciplinary, Mr. Speaker. But that is on a lighter note, it can be expunged from the record. Mr. Speaker, finally, on the issue, in my remaining time, was county health promoters, Mr. Speaker. I thought we allocate funds. Why are the CHPs not paid in our counties? I think the governor of Nyandarua and all governors must pay, Mr. Speaker, when you are having a motion courtesy of your approval. I have received information that even post workers in this country have gone without salaries for the last 6 months, Mr. Speaker. Yet CS Mbadi was telling us they spend over 80 billion, around 1 trillion in salaries in every financial year, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be that post workers are going without salary for the last 6 months, Mr. Speaker. I'm aware also, yesterday I did mention, Mr. Speaker, on this issue of payments of interns. I am happy the Commissioner of Parliamentary Service Commission is here, Senator Joyce. I wish he would be listening. That we have also interns that work within Parliamentary Service Commission. We must also remunerate them well so that they can raise, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament raise up to 1 million Kenya shillings of suit. Mine, I get it from Kigomba so that I don't misconstrue. But the interns are wearing one they buy in Isili, a different black and a different black, Mr. Speaker. We must also, as parliamentarians, through the PSC, remunerate them, Mr. Speaker. I support all statements.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to support Honorable Hamida on the issues of SUBCAM. Honorable Speaker, SUBCAM stands for the entire Muslims in this country welfare. But however, this time it has been politicized, it has been taken more or less like an individual ownerships. Muslims can undergo difficulties in Hajj. This is an obligation that is part of the religion that every Muslim must go one time or any time that goes to Hajj to fulfill an obligation, a religious obligation. In other countries, Honorable Speaker, the members of the Islamic faith, they are represented by their countries. They are members from the Foreign Office. There are people who go with them, and they are taken care of. But our members are left with irresponsible and not taking care of the members of the religious, the Muslims. Honorable Speaker, we will urge that an intervention of the respective government institutions where these social society things come under, to at least see to these problems that have been solved. And I will request maybe our foreign office, the foreign office in our embassies in Saudi, to also intervene. As it is, things are bad now for the Muslims, and actually they were undergoing a lot of difficulties when the time of Hajj. And the Hajj now is almost going to be next 4 or 5 months, and before that, I think we need to solve at least these problems. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of the Jamhuri Park, it's actually very unfortunate. Jamhuri Park is actually our national heritage. This is why we have our international shows, trade fairs, and many other things, activities, and it has been there since immemorial, even before independence. But today, unfortunately, this country, people have developed a lot of higher vanities for land grabbing. Most of our land is going to individuals, and I don't know where we're going to and where this country is heading to, because where will the country produce food? The ADC is gone almost, railways is also going, all the research stations are now being grabbed part of it, and therefore it is a high time, and this house must go the extra mile to save this country's land, so at least we keep some land for our own food production, for our own heritages, so that at least we can be able to know where our land is, where the country public land is, and I think the committee should move fast to be able to control this kind of land grabbing. And I think actually most of these people who are grabbing this land are not even proper Kenyans. They just come on, they're investors here. Wherever they come from, I don't know. So we are not ready to give out our land and our heritage. For those few remarks, I beg to support.
Senator S. AC Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to support the statement that was read on Senator Matthew's behalf on community health promoters. Mr. Speaker, the community health promoters are a very integral cohort in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda on the side of healthcare. But it's very unfortunate what we are witnessing from county governments, not just Nyandarua, but so many of the other county governments. Community health promoters are either lamenting from delayed payments or non-payment of stipends at all, Mr. Speaker, and they have so many other challenges. Imagine the community health promoters ordinarily should be covering 100 households, but on daily basis, sometimes they cover more than those 100 households, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, not just stipends, this committee should also go and find out why community health promoters are not even able to get data to aid them in synchronization of data that is in the electronic community health information system, because on a daily basis they have to do this. So with no, as little as no data, they are not able to do the same, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, community health promoters previously benefited from NHIF that they were paid for. Currently, they do not have SHA coverage benefit. That is one of the things we need to look at. If at all, they are crucial as we actually look at them, Mr. Speaker. And finally, now that all of us agree that community health promoters are very integral in the healthcare system in this country, why then don't we incorporate them in the rest of the other professionals in the healthcare system, in linking the bottommost part of this country with the main system in the healthcare sector, so that they can be able to serve citizens efficiently and also feeling that their services are appreciated, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion. Welfare of interns. Order number 8, motion. Welfare of interns working under Public Service Commission, PAC. Question to be put.
Clerk, do we have the requisite quorum? Now, for the convenience of the House, allow me to rearrange the order paper pursuant to Standing Order 45-2. We will now move to order number 18. Clerk, you may proceed to call that order, order number 18.
Order number 18, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. William Kaguro Michael regarding the Changara Water Pan, a World Bank funded project in Busia County.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. William Kaguro Michael regarding the Changara Water Pan, a World Bank funded project in Busia County, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 7th of October, 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, On the 11th of October 2023, you reported a petition in this Senate by the residents of Changara in Teso North, Sub-County, Busia County, regarding Changara Water Pan, a World Bank funded project in that county. Mr. Speaker, sir, the petitioners sought three main prayers in the petition. Number one, that the committee investigates the procurement process and determines how Berodi Company was awarded the contract for the project. Number two, that the committee examines and addresses any misappropriation or misuse of funds allocated to the project and hold accountable all individuals and officials found culpable of compromising the project and its objectives. Number three, the committee facilitates the timely completion of the project to deliver its intended benefits to the community. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee visited Busia County in April this year, and it also had consultations and hearings both here in Nairobi and in Busia. We also had an opportunity to invite the governor of Busia, His Excellency Mr. Otuoma, and also the EACC. And our recommendations, Mr. Speaker, sir, are that one, the committee, the EACC, because at the time of the investigations, the EACC had already commenced investigations to the project, and they were at an advanced stage in conclusion of their investigations. So we recommend, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the EACC expedites its investigations and concludes the same within 3 months of the tabling of this report. Number two, we are also recommending that the EACC, upon completion of its investigation, any financial resources that were misappropriated and attendant interest should be recovered and plowed back into the completion of the project. Mr. Speaker, sir, most of the times when the EACC recovers these funds, they are normally paid to the exchequer. However, it is time that the EACC now refunds these funds to the requisite county or government department so that the projects that are intended to be done are completed by those funds. Number three, that the county government, which had already also taken steps to complete the project, do ensure that security and all that safeguards of the water pan assets and equipment to avoid further vandalism. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we visited the site, we found out that there was no boundary wall, there was no guard office, which are projects that had been paid for by the funds. Number four, that the county government institutes immediate plans to complete and operationalize the water pan project and therefore properly hand over the project to the community within the financial year 2025-2026 and ensure its sustainable use and maintenance. Number five, the county government should seek legal redress on the observed breach in contract during construction of the water pan, and the future public projects should follow the strict adherence to the procurement laws and procedures and ensure public participation is conducted adequately as per the provisions of the Constitution and the relevant statutes. And number six, the county government provides a status update within 3 months of the adoption of this report by the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, the gist of the report is that we found that there were a lot of irregularities in the award of the tender. There are also inflation of the cost of the project, and of more concern to us was the fact that the project was not completed. There's nothing on the ground, Mr. Speaker, sir, to show that such a project was conducted in that area of Changara. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that this report be adopted, and I invite my brother, Senator Murango, who is also a member of our committee, to second this report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Asante sana, Mr. Speaker. Ningetaka kuunga mkono ripoti iliyoletwa katika bunge la Seneti na mwenyekiti wa kamati husika. Mr. Speaker, ni kweli kwamba tulienda mpaka pale Changara ambapo si karibu na tukaweza kutathmini yaliyotendeka. Na Mr. Speaker, ni kweli kwamba ile kazi ambayo ilikuwa ilichukua takriban milioni 24 haikuwa imefanyika vilivyo, na chambilecho Waswahili kwamba ukiona manyoya ujue imeliwa. Kwa hivyo kamati iliweza kutathmini ya kwamba zile fedha ambazo zilitumika pale ni kama zilikuwa zimepotea. Mr. Speaker, ningetaka tu kuuliza mwenyekiti kama wakati ripoti inawekwa picha ziwe zinaonekana, kwa sababu pale niko lakini inaonekana kama gunia la makaa katika picha ambazo zimewekwa katika ile ripoti. Jambo lingine ni kwamba tuliambiwa kwamba mradi uliotekelezwa ulikuwa na faida kwa wakazi, lakini hata zile mifereji ya maji ambayo ilikuwa inatoa maji kutoka kwa ile bwawa la Changara ili uweze kunufaisha wakazi ambao walikuwa wanaishi chini ya bwawa hakuku hata moja, na tukaelezewa kwamba zile mifereji zilikuwa zimeimbiwa. Jambo la pili ni kwamba pale ilikuwa imechimbwa pale, hapo juu hatua moja kulikuwa na bwawa lingine ambao lilikuwa limejengwa na Waroezi miaka 1900 na kitu 14 hivi. Lile bwawa lilikuwa liko katika hali nzuri kuliko lile mpya ambao lilikuwa limetumia takriban milioni 24 ambalo lilikuwa linafaa kunufaisha wale wakazi. Tulipata ya kwamba pia hatukukaribishwa kwa njia iliyofaa, kwa sababu nadhani unajua mtu akiwa na makosa huwa anakimbia hata kabla hakuna mtu anamfukuza. Lakini baadaye tulikambiwa kwamba hata kuna ofisi na kulikuwa na hata vyoo ambavyo vilikuwa vimejengwa katika eneo ile. Tulipofika pale hatukupata. Huwa yenye ilikuwa imewekwa sio ile ambayo ilikuwa imepeandwa katika kandarasi ya kujenga. Tukatathmini hata mwenye alikuwa anapewa wakati mwingine alikuwa pia ni mwakilishi wadi katika eneo lile wakati mwingine, ambao ilionyesha wazi ya kwamba kulikuwa na utumizi mbaya wa mamlaka. Mr. Speaker, ya mwisho tulipata kwamba ile mbwawa bado ilikuwa inavunja maji kutoka chini. Kusema ya kwamba, na wakati huo kulikuwa ni wakati wa kiangazi, kusema ya kwamba kukinyesha sijui kutakuwa kutaendelea namna gani. Na tunapojua kwamba kulikuwa na janga la mbwawa ambao ilikuwa imevunja kingo zake katika eneo la Nakuru, tuliona pia ni hatari ya wale wakazi ambao walikuwa wanafaa kunufaika hapo awali na ule mlandi. Kwa hivyo tuliweza kukaa chini pia na wale wa taasisi husika kama EACC, tukaongea na wakasema wanachukua hatua. Mr. Speaker, changamoto ambayo inakuwekwa wakati watu wanafuatwa kwa sababu ya kuvunja pesa ya umma ni kwamba ile pesa inapopatikana haitarudishiwa moja kwa moja wakazi wa Busia. Itakuja iwekwe katika hazina kuu, na hiyo pesa ni kusema wale wananchi watakuwa wamepoteza ile fedha ambayo ilikuwa inafaa kuwanufaisha. Kwa hivyo na tukasema pia ni vizuri kuwe na taratibu wakati uchunguzi unafanywa na fedha inapatikana iweze kurudishiwa ile gatuzi husika ili fedha iweze kunufaisha wale watu ambao watakuwa wametarajiwa kunufaika na ile fedha ambayo imetolewa. Ya mwisho kabisa ni kwamba kazi iliyofanywa ni kazi duni. Sisi pia ni wakulima. Ile mbwawa ni kama yenye tunatengeneza sisi na kama milioni 2. Lakini ile ilisemekana imetumia milioni 24. Kwa hivyo Mr. Speaker, kwa mengi na machache nitasema ya kwamba tulipata kulikuwa na kasoro ambayo inafaa kurekebishwa, na pia wakifanya uchunguzi wale waweze kuchukuliwa hatua ili iwe ni kielelezo kwa wengine ambao wanaweza kuwa na tabia kama hizo. Asante sana Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I will now propose the question, which is that the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. William Kanguru Michael regarding the Changara Water Plan, a World Bank-funded project in Busia County, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 7th of October, 2025. The Honorable Chiranke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, as I support this motion, the chairperson of this committee should apologize to me because he had assured me I would second on a lighter touch, and gave me a lot of material to digest. But may it be, the Speaker, I want to say, this is a straightforward matter. This Changara water pan, which World Bank funded, is a matter that EACC and necessary agencies should have undertaken, Mr. Speaker. Because in any case, the money that World Bank, and I want to say this, Mr. Speaker, because many people think that the money we get from World Bank is sadaka. Sorry for using that term, or a tithe. The money we get from World Bank is a loan. Even if it is a grant, it is a loan, Mr. Speaker, and it is under Conditional Allocation Act that guides the usage of World Bank funding. So, Mr. Speaker, it should be noted. And when we raise questions, the World Bank country directors and World Bank officials, Mr. Speaker, did not even mind into the looking. In those questions, the World Bank country directors and World Bank officials, Mr. Speaker, did not even mind a town where there was an improvement of footpaths. Mr. Speaker, the footpaths that were done, and I'm told that this World Bank, and I think the chair of Lions should listen to this, or even the EACC, most of the contractors that work with the World Bank are only one. And when they did the footpath around Kapsabet town, Mr. Speaker, that footpath was not even enough for 2 dogs to pass each other. And you know, Kapsabet, Mr. Speaker, we are blessed with rains. That footpath has been washed away, all the way from Namgoi to Kamobo. Mr. Speaker, as you exit towards the Nandi forest, you know, Mr. Speaker, we are lucky we have 3 forests. We are the only county with 3 forests, Nandi North, Nandi South, Mr. Speaker, and of course, Kimondi Forest. Those footpaths that were supposed to be done, Mr. Speaker, did not meet the threshold. I, as the area senator, I wrote several 1,001 letters. I was not writing the letters that were written by Paul in the Bible, Mr. Speaker. No, the letters that were written to Corinthians or Galatians. I was writing letters to World Bank to demand accountability. That how many money a day dispersed to Nandi County. Mr. Speaker, I want to request, based on this motion, that is there a way through the Lands Committee or the yours truly, either Finance and Budget Committee or County Public Accounts, to demand audit of this World Bank project across the country, especially on the issue of Kenya Urban Support Program, the issue of water projects across the country. Let us get the catalog of the audit of those projects, Mr. Speaker, for accountability and transparency, so that this Changara water project that was supposed to be funded, Mr. Speaker. One, we have lost what we call value for money, Mr. Speaker. The people who are supposed to use this water have not used, Mr. Speaker, which means we did not get value for money. So I want to appeal to EACC, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, because I don't want to belabor this, these are straight, to move Suamoto and ensure they prosecute these individuals who perpetuated these crimes in, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy that the Committee of Lands led by Senator Faki, who I have tremendous respect, and he was once my member of JLAC then, when I was still powerful in this house. And I remember we went to him to Mombasa and he hosted us very well. That within 90 days, there should be a track record on the implementation process on the EACC. And I want to challenge the EACC, Mr. Speaker. This issue of arresting Kenyans for bribery of 10,000 shillings, 20,000, when they appear to us, they brought us, they have arrested people over 20,000 bribe. While the billionaires, the dollar billionaires who have plundered public resources, including Changara Wantapan, are enjoying their loot across Malaba border, where we were in Senate Machinani, Mr. Speaker. Others are buying, I'm forgetting the kind of the shoe that I was told, it's a Farcamano, something like that. They are wearing designer, Mr. Speaker, and of course I told you, Mr. Speaker, my suits I get it from Kikomba. So, Mr. Speaker, that is the essence that we need EACC. And this issue of lifestyle audit, the project manager of this, the people who approve, the county government, they must be arrested, Mr. Speaker. And I want to challenge EACC. The reason, Mr. Speaker, and we are with you, and you spoke very well and eloquently in Homa Bay during the Evolution Conference, that counties have received 4 trillion Kenya shillings for the last 15 years in devolution. But there is nothing to show for it. It is because of such projects where a project has been initiated very well, concepted very well, but the people do not get value. And you know the reason, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, many people, the centralists, want to kill devolution is because of it's because of corruption. Every senator will tell you, including Murango, Senator Murango, I don't know whether he's Kakeke or Tukeke, because I was told, Mr. Speaker, somebody said elected leaders from Mount Kenya region are not as learned as people like Faki, Mr. Speaker. Every weekend, if senators who are here, their speech is about accountability, public laws. You had Senator Wakoli, I've seen him on a number of occasions, and everybody questioned their governor on the public laws of funds. But nothing is being done about it. We are calling the EACC to do their job. Mr. Speaker, I remember in Nandi, for example, that a scandal of payroll where the senior person in the county executive, the CEO, had employed the mother and the brother and people who are not in the payroll. We are using more than 3 billion Kenya shillings. The EACC, Mr. Speaker, nowadays, if you see how they come like Jesus Christ. As Christians, we are told Jesus will come. We don't know when. But that is how EACC appear. Rat matters, they take computers, for Nandi, they have taken 1 year. They have not even arrested a rat. Mr. Speaker, this is embarrassing. And I'm worried about this report, Mr. Speaker, that we might adopt, and then we don't see the results. Yet the people who looted this water pan of Changara in Busia County will never be held accountable, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I celebrate and congratulate Senator Faki. I know this committee is the issue of land is very emotive, Mr. Speaker. My law lecturer, Professor Tomo Jenda, used to sell us a book by force called The Principles of Conveyancing. One thing I like about, as he begins his book, he says, in the first, when you open the preface, Mr. Speaker, he says, land is an emotive issue, and he puts it a full stop. I'll put a full stop, the principles of conveyancing. And we used to buy his book and to tell us about the issue of land. And I want to invite Senator Faki to read that book, and even Senator Manso, your colleague, Professor Tomo Jena, wrote a book called Principles of Conveyancing. I know the Committee of Lands, Senator Faki is very busy, Mr. Speaker. So even, Mr. Speaker, as we support this motion, I think it's a straightforward matter. I want to request, Mr. Speaker, if we adopt, I don't know our standing orders, maybe you can use your power, that these 90 days, let us be told who stole this issue, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, there is this small matter where there seems to be political intolerance, Mr. Speaker. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, one of the Tindred members of parliament aspirant by the name Engineer Shadrach Maritim has disappeared, Mr. Speaker. Is there a problem, Mr. Speaker? Another day, there is a young man called Ken Maswai from Kapseret constituency was clobbered. And he spilled blood all over, more than what Jesus Christ split on the cross, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I think as a country, let us preach peace, let us bring tolerance. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to support and thank you for your indulgence. I know you are a wise man. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fernandez, observe relevance whenever you're making your contributions. Senator Mandago. Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the senator for Eldoret familiarizes himself.
Senator Mandago, you are out of order. You don't cross that way.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, this is a very important matter. And it is not the only matter whereby World Bank has funded projects, and after funding projects, the same happens. In fact, the projects funded under the Ministry of Agriculture, instead of devolving them to the counties, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Agriculture, and funded by various bodies, will pretend to go to the county and do these projects there. And quite a number of them, and especially water plants like this one, Mr. Speaker, they have ended up half done or CP water or with a problem or another, yet the project is completed, contractors fully paid, and they leave. I believe there must be a sense of responsibility, Mr. Speaker. If we want to give the people of Kenya water, then let's finish the project, Mr. Speaker. Many parts of the country are dry. And if we properly irrigated our country, or even supplied people with water, you first solve the problem of diseases by more than half. Because when there is sufficient clean water, then diseases disappear. Many, many diseases attack people for lack of water, for staying thirsty, and for lack of clean water. And therefore, having a dam of this magnitude in Busia County would go a long way, and this is a county which fairly rains well, will go a long way into helping very many people, into improving livelihoods of people. But unfortunately, this did not happen, Mr. Speaker. The dam was abandoned halfway. Ordinarily, it's very expensive, and we must look at our relationship with the organizations which are funding our projects. The moment contractors behave irresponsibly, then there's bound to be a problem. And even if they are World Bank funded, Mr. Speaker, as they get to the counties, then I believe the county has a very big aspect to do with water. Water is devolved. Land is, to a good extent, devolved. And also, Mr. Speaker, agriculture is devolved. And therefore, whichever ministry is dealing with this organization, Mr. Speaker, we must make sure there is delivery on ground, because the more we do not deliver, the more we abandon projects halfway, the more many people will not like to partner with us to do projects for the benefit of the people. And therefore, this is one case, Mr. Speaker, which ended up in a petition coming before the House, before the committee dealing with land. And it's a matter, Mr. Speaker, as the Senate, we should see its end. That after we make our recommendations here, Mr. Speaker, we want to see people prosecuted. Unfortunately, there has been a big fight as to whether it is EACC to prosecute or to investigate. And when these reports go to the DPP for proof of prosecution, then things start going around in circles. And because the DPP has power to prosecute or not to prosecute any individual in the country, then it has ended up discouraging a lot of people from even pursuing corruption cases. It is also true, Mr. Speaker, witnesses related to corruption cases died, disappeared, and a lot of people left afraid to testify. I had one case, Mr. Speaker, of whereby a witness who was halfway giving evidence on the National Land Commission disappeared from the premises of the National Land Commission and was found 2 days later dead in Gong Hills. This is about 2 years ago, during the corona time, actually. And this was, and that matter ended there. No one was ever convicted. This was a key witness. Therefore, many people also fear. So as much as we give recommendation here for action to be taken, many people, Mr. Speaker, also fear now to go and confront people who are doing bad things into the country. And I think the witness protection program must become stronger in this country. And then also, the DPP's office has to be very firm. Where there is sufficient evidence, there are no sacred cows. Let those people face the law, and in the minimum, let them do retribution. Let them return to the state what the state has lost. And I think if that offer was there, and somebody has a choice between prosecution or refunding part of the money, most probably they will refund the money other than face prosecution. A plea bargain of some sort, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, it is not enough for this House to vote and make recommendations, but it must also, be the end of it. The necessary investigative bodies to do their job, and the prosecuting body, the DPP's office, to do what is right and send these people to jail so that others may not play around with Kenyans, with the property of Kenyans, with the benefit of Kenyans conferred to them by World Bank. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Having moved the motion. My dashboard is clear. Well, the mover is already taken to the floor.
Mheshimiwa Spika, Senator Olekina alikuwa amenidokezea kwamba angependa kuchangia hii hoja.
Kindly give him an opportunity.
Kwa hivyo naomba
to do
umpe
so.
fursa. Thank you.
Proceed, Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and for your magnanimity to comment on this very, very important motion. Mr. Speaker, the role of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission in this Kenya has been misunderstood. And in most cases, you'll find that when projects are investigated where there is either misuse of public funds or there is a collusion, the people who end up suffering are the citizens. Because either whatever is discovered is maintained in the ESCC offices, and projects which are supposed to benefit individuals end up just being white elephant projects. Mr. Speaker, as I comment on this petition by a citizen in terms of the misuse of World Bank funded projects, and you see what people don't understand is that anything given by the World Bank is a loan. Anything given by the World Bank come with conditions. In fact, most of the additional allocation that we send to the counties are normally conditioned that that money has got to be spent strictly on the project which is intended. Mr. Speaker, the importance of petitions to the Senate by citizens has always been misunderstood, both by this House and also by the citizens. Because the question that comes out is, what happened next? Let me appreciate the work which is being done by the distinguished senator from Mombasa, Mohamed Munyihaji Faki. Because for the last sittings, about 6 or so sittings, the distinguished senator has been sitting here giving this House reports on petitions that have been brought by citizens. And these petitions are brought solely because of the issue of accountability and transparency. I think it's about time that we now amend our standing orders so that if this House now vote for a report that has been submitted by a committee, despite the fact of us not having an implementation committee, the committee that submits that report ensures that they immediately work with the Secretariat and report back to this House on the implementation metrics that they'll come up with. Mr. Speaker, I was sitting here keenly listening to Senator Faki when he was moving the report. And my good friend, Senator Sifuna, came and called me. And he said to me that the former Speaker of Parliament, Ole Kaparo, was waiting for me in my office. And when I went to see him, he gave me his book that he's written. And I want to encourage all of us to get a copy of this book. And he said to me, I want you to read the last paragraph. And it's quite interesting that what he told me to read, Mr. Speaker, relate fairly to the current generation that we have. You know, a lot of people think that you can do anything today and no one will know. And he told me, read this last paragraph, in which I want to read, Mr. Speaker. He said, today, younger generation is the best gift Kenya has to right the wrongs of the past because they live in the golden age of increased knowledge. Their world is expanding into a boundless village on account of the internet, which connects people around the world in ways that have seemed magical to their forebearers. Mr. Speaker, before, people will just misuse public funds and there's no accountability of transparency. And when the anti-corruption investigates, that even if it goes to court, it will stay there over and over and over. When you now read what Ole Kaparo has written here, and you juxtapose it to the current situation on this petition, the first thing that you must ask yourself is this. Hypothetically, if EACC are able to recover any money, will that money go back to complete that dam? Or will that money just be sent back to Treasury? Or EACC will just maybe make a deal, keep the money? Ultimately, what will happen? So, Speaker Kaparo has told us that the younger generation know, and that is why everyone is coming to the Senate to be able to bring a petition. But what we have not been able to answer is that how do we guarantee the petitioner that this House will give a solution? There is absolutely no way that we can guarantee that petitioner when there is a big question mark on the powers that this House have today. There is a big question mark on the power that the judiciary has today. Those two, and I want to repeat this, Mr. Speaker, that unless now we become bold enough and to make sure that whatever this House pronounces, if we vote, right now we are busy looking for senators to come in so that we can vote and adopt the report tabled by the distinguished senator from Mombasa. But what happens if we are not bold enough to give this House the power that has been donated to it by the Constitution? Speaker Kaparo says there'll be a revolution. And in this time, we will not be able to stop it. So, fellow senators, it is wrong that conditional grants, money donated, money loaned for specific projects are misused and nothing happened. I want to plead with the chair of Lands, Senator Faki, who is also an accomplished lawyer, to do things differently this time around, to show that this House has got indeed a lot of power, that we can be able to make sure that when EACC recovers any money, that money, this House direct that money goes back to complete that project. Because otherwise we will not be doing anything. So to conclude, Mr. Speaker, I want to end by saying that we must now develop the will to fight for this House to regain its power. And whatever motion we pass here, because Senate only pronounces itself through bills and motions. Whatever motion we pass in this House, it doesn't just become a piece of paper or literature, or it doesn't just become moot. It must come out with action, and it must bite. So EACC, the ball is on your court. But remember, it is this House that gives you power. And Senator Faki, if we have to amend the EACC Act so that whatever money they recover from their investigation, it goes back to benefit the people who are being investigated, so be it. So since we know motions can be taken lightly, we pass so many motions here. One of the motions which I worked so heavily, Mr. Speaker, to pass was a motion on pending bills. You know? And now, what happened to that motion? Was it implemented? No. And now, boils down to the fact that if I want it to be implemented, is for me to use my money, go to court, and get court orders to compel. Then where is the power of parliament then? So, Mr. Speaker, Senator Faki has an opportunity to start giving this House powers, to regain the powers that we have as parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Faki, now you will. Are you the one who went on it at the time?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I want to thank all the senators who have contributed. Senator Murango, who is my member of the Lands Committee, be able to contribute in all the reports that we have been able to table in this House. Senator Manzo and Senator Olekina. Mr. Speaker, sir, earlier when we were discussing, members were contributing to the statement by Senator Sifuna on the alleged grabbing of the Jamhuri Park land. Several issues were raised, and our committee only says of the matter when the matters are referred to us through this House. And we are willing. Last week on Monday, we traveled to Meru with you, Honorable Speaker, and in Meru, one of the petitioners explained to us that there are about 230 plots, which translates to about 1,735 acres of land that belong to the Meru County government, which have been grabbed by private individuals. But unless we have that information in writing in this House, we may not be able to move much. So I want to thank them for contributing to this report. Mr. Speaker, sir, our recommendations are there, and we are going, once the report is approved, we are going to have a matrix of implementation together with the other reports which were adopted last week, so that our reports within a period of 90 days, we shall be having regular briefs to the House whenever we present our report for the quarter. We shall be presenting also our reports on how the reports are being implemented. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the issue of recovery of money which has been misappropriated through the EACC, yes, that has been a problem. In fact, the prosecutions sometimes are derailed by the office of the ODPP. A case in point is the case of the former governor for Migori, where the EACC is insisting on prosecution of Mr. Obado, while the ODPP are willing to plea bargain and withdraw the charges in return for the money that is going to be the assets that have been recovered from Mr. Obado. Mr. Speaker, sir, in such a scenario, for instance, the assets amount to about 400 million. Now, this was money which was meant for the county of Migori, but now that money is coming to the treasury, and in the treasury, it is now going to be reallocated and re-budgeted for. Yet, the people of Migori have lost an opportunity to have development projects with that money. The same should be applied to this Changara water project. Any amount recovered should go back to Busia County, because that money was for the people of Busia and for the Changara water plant project. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to reply, and pursuant to Standing Order number 66.3, request for the deferment of putting of the question to a later date. Thank you.
Very well. Your request is granted. Next round.
Order number 19, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Francis Wanaina Njuguna Mbogo concerning historical injustice and illegal alienation of LR number 7153-1, 7153-2, 7153-R, also known as LR number 12825 in Kiambu County.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources. Move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that the Senate do adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Francis Wainaina Njuguna Mbogo concerning historical land injustices and illegal alienation of LR number 7153-1, 7153-2, 7153-R, also known as LR number 12825 in Kiambu County, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 7th of October 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, this was a petition received from the family of Mbogo's family regarding those 3 parcels of land. Their prayers were that the Senate committee recommends to the National Land Commission to consider reinvestigating the claims of historical land injustices regarding these parcels of land to its logical conclusion. And number 2, that the committee recommends that immediate cessation of any forced evictions towards the petitioners. Mr. Speaker, sir, this matter, at the time we had the petition, had already been submitted to the National Land Commission, who have a mandate under the Constitution to investigate land and historical injustices. Mr. Speaker, sir, there are also several matters which were pending before the High Court in Kiambu and Nairobi, and therefore our hands are a bit tied. So we have recommended, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the National Land Commission do proceed and conclude the investigations on this land, or no before the 30th of December 2025, that there be no further evictions of the Mbogo family from the lands that are mentioned in this petition. These are parcels number LR number 7153/1, 7153/2, 7153/R, also known as 12 LR number 12825 in Kiambu County. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move and ask Senator Issa Juma Boy of Kwale County to second this report. Thank you.
Senator Issa Boy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I second. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate endorse the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Francis Wainaina Jogona Mbogo concerning historical injustices and illegal alienation of LR number 7153/1, 7153/2, 7153/R, also known as LR number 12825 in Kiambu County, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 7th October 2025. I want to give an opportunity for senators to contribute to the motion and give their comments. But so far, none is on my dashboard. Okay. Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, let me appreciate Senator Faki for the good work that he has been doing. In fact, when people are what these senators are doing here, Mr. Speaker, this petition is important, and I'm happy that the Lands Committee has given recommendations. And sometimes it is very difficult for the Senate to be able to give recommendations on matters that come to this House, and there are so many other legal issues surrounding it. Having so many cases in court relating to the same land is something which makes it very difficult for the Senate to give recommendation that will be rewarding to the petitioners. I want to urge the petitioners to read carefully the findings of the Senate on this matter. They can utilize the findings of these cases to build up their case. But meanwhile, that subdivision of that piece of land in a cooperative has to be done in the right way. So I want to urge the gentleman from Kiambu County to engage thoroughly NLC, the National Land Commission, which I know currently there are a few commissioners who are being vetted, and I hope that the President will move expeditiously and appoint new commissioners. I believe there are about 3. And also, it is very interesting, Mr. Speaker, because sometimes when we have commissioners and their term comes to an end, or the changes, but when we have big deals, particularly surrounding the SGR, you'll find that some commissioners will decide to go to court and challenge their removal. How do you challenge being removed when you have been appointed. How do you challenge? You just let go. This is what is delaying. And I'm pretty sure there are so many cases in the NLC that cannot be concluded because the commission, as it is fighting on its own. Others have gone to court to challenge their removal or the changes. So maybe what you can do, Mr. President, is to proceed and appoint 3 of them, while the rest who have gone to court, you wait until court makes a decision. But ultimately, the people who end up suffering are citizens. Because when you're put somewhere, you're not just put there so that you can be able to go there and benefit or line your pocket. Why would you fight the appointing authority? If you are given an opportunity to serve, serve. If you are told go home, go home. Unless it's the citizens who have elected you. When the citizens elect you, there is a time frame. 5 years, if they're not happy with your job, they take you home. But any appointed position, you can be changed at any given time. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge the petitioner to read the findings of the Senate carefully and proceed to the NLC and start working with them so that they can get what is rightfully theirs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I now call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a matter which squarely falls under the mandate of the National Land Commission. We are aware that the Commission's terms of office is about to expire. However, they have done a lot under the stewardship of Mr. Gershom Otachi, and they have assured us that they will be willing to work extra hard to be able to conclude the reports that they have been doing. Mr. Speaker, sir, we further recommend that the commissioners that will be appointed, they be sufficiently funded and be able to deal with the historical land injustice cases expeditiously, because this is one of the problems that we have been able to encounter throughout the Republic. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I move that under Standing Order number 66(3), the putting of the question be deferred to a later date. Thank you.
Very well noted. The putting of the question has been deferred. Next order.
Order number 20, motion, report of the standing on a petition to the Senate by Mr. James Mwaura Njoroge and other Nyandarua internally displaced persons concerning delayed compensation and occupation of parcels of land.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Faki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Senate adopts a report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. James Mwaura Njoroge and other Nyandarua internally displaced persons, IDPs, concerning the delayed compensation and occupation of parcels of land laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 7th of October, 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a petition by the IDPs, the people who are displaced by the internal clashes during the period 2007, after the general election of 2007. Mr. Speaker, sir, we visited the petitioners in Nyandarua, deep inside Nyandarua, and it was bordering Laikipia County, and we saw the plight of the IDPs, Mr. Speaker, sir. They were living in very harsh conditions. There were no sanitation facilities. There was no water in the place. There were no schools nearby where they could take their children. And they have been there, Mr. Speaker, sir, for a long time. Mr. Speaker, sir, land had been purchased. And in fact, this morning when the CS Internal Security here came to the chamber, Senator Murkomen, he alluded to the fact that land was bought for the IDPs. However, the land has not been subdivided and allocated to these IDPs. Mr. Speaker, sir, the situation we found on that visit was very traumatizing, and we have recommended that immediately this report is adopted, the Ministry of Lands should be able to avail funds for the demarcation of the land that was acquired for this purpose. Land was already acquired in fact, the ADPs were living on a piece of land which was acquired specifically for resettlement of the ADPs. So there's no problem, there's no issue that there's no land. The land is there. It's just a matter of demarcation and allocation of the plots to the people who are on that parcel of land. The other issue we have recommended, Mr. Speaker, that is that all the IDPs now, it's time that this issue it's now about 18 years since the general election that brought those chaos, and therefore it is time for all the camps now to be closed and everybody be allocated land to be able to move on with their lives. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have also recommended that the county government of Laikipia, where these people are situated, should provide sanitation facilities and water to these people, because they are living in prehistoric times where they have to go many distances to find water and be able to use for their daily activities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that this report, the House adopts this report, and I invite my able member, Senator Murango, to second this report. Thank you.
Senator Murango.
Asante sana Mr. Speaker. Ningetaka kwanza kuunga mkono ombi ambalo lilikuwa limeletwa kutoka Nyandarua, na pia niweze kusema ya kwamba pia nimpe hongera mwenyekiti wa kamati ya shamba na mali asili, kwa sababu mambo ya kuangalia mambo ya mashamba ni jambo ambalo si jambo ambalo unaweza fanya kama umekaa katika bunge la seneti, na kwa hivyo lazima tuwafuate wale ambao wameathirika ili tuweze kuwaelewa na kutafuta jawabu ya kero ambazo wako nazo. Mr. Speaker, utampata ya kwamba wale IDPs wanakaa katika mazingira mabaya sana. Hakuna vyoo, hamna maji. Unapata hata shule kwingine haziko, ambao magonjwa inawapata kila uchao. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri waweze kuangaliwa, na ningeambia wizara ya shamba kwamba waache kuzembea, kwa sababu shamba liko, watu bado wanahangaika. Ni vizuri kila mtu apewe mahali pake aweze kukaa kulea watoto. Zaidi tukizingatia kwamba waliokuja katika zile kambi wakati huo wengi ni watu wazima, wengine wameona tayari. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri waharakishe ili tuwapatie afueni wale ambao wanaathirika kwa yale mazingira ambayo ni mabaya. Sasa sana Mr. Speaker, naunga mkono.
Senators, I propose the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. James Mwaura Njoroge and other Nyandarua internally displaced persons, IDPs, concerning the rent compensation and occupation.
18 good years from 2007. Kids are now graduating from high school, yet your parents are still living as IDPs. That child will soon be getting an ID card. Where will that child write in the ID card as if it's a home? Will they say it's IDP? I live in an internally displaced camp full of people. Who is your chief? Which chief will you go to be able to give you recommendation for you to get an ID? Where will you say you come from? Would you say you come from Nyandarua or Laikipia County? Mr. Speaker, some of these things are things which the government should be asking itself. Tough questions. If you are taking 18 years, I'm sure within the 18 years, a lot of those IDPs have died. Some of them are still wallowing in poverty. Some of them are still struggling to be able to find an identity, because their dignity was taken away from them. Mr. Speaker, there are certain things that we shouldn't be talking about in this day and age. You take 18 years to be able to compensate someone who has been displaced by the fact that they either fought for you or they fought for their opponents just because of elections? Mr. Speaker, it is quite sad. This is the same thing that I'm saying, that Senator Faki, this thing cannot end on this desk. Senators minimum to be able to adopt that report. This requires action. Earlier on you talked about NLC. But in this case we have land. But Mr. Speaker, when you talk about Laikipia County, when you talk about Nyandarua, there are other competing interests. There is an issue of grass. There is an issue of conflict between my people of the Maasai, between the Samburu and the Pokot. Could that be the issue why these people are not settled, why they have not been compensated? The last I checked from my geography, Kenya is quite large. If these people cannot be settled there because maybe the original inhabitants of that land have not been settled there, we're just pastoralists moving from one place to another, why not go and create new modern cities? Move the people from there. You know, Mr. Speaker, every time we talk about internally displaced persons, how do you even identify those people? Other people who might just be in that camp and consider themselves as IDPs because it is 18 years. There's no way you're going to say, I know the Senate committee visited that place, but I want to challenge the committee as well. There's no way you can actually say that everyone who is living there now was as a result of the post-election violence of 2007. So we need to be realistic and say, what do we do? I compare the issue of compensation with the issue of whenever land is forcefully acquired by the government, or the issue of where lives. You know, even those people who don't qualify end up joining the queue. Mr. Speaker, 5 years ago, if you drove from Maimahiu to Naivasha, the land there was virtually empty. You'd probably count 1, 2, 3, or 4 houses. But that land was acquired by the government, and Kenyans who are internally displaced by the war in 2007, some of them were placed there. And now when you go there, you would think it's a city that existed for over 20 years. So, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude my remarks on this matter, I think it is important that when the implementation metrics will be developed, one of the things that should not be left out is a process to conduct accurate profiling of all the IDPs, so that we just don't blame everyone, yet many people have already been settled, but they are interested in going to Laikipia because there's a lot of land which is free. Mr. Speaker, also with the implementation metrics, it is important to ensure that we talk to each other so that we can address the problems that have caused us, or that have caused some of our brothers and sisters to be internally displaced in a country called Kenya. If we don't talk to each other, 2027 is coming. What will happen if we go haywire and other people are displaced? We will not have solved the 2007, we will now try to deal with the 2027. So it's imperative that we talk to each other, we encourage people living together. So that must also be part and parcel of your implementation metrics, Mr. Chairman of the committee. Mr. Speaker, it is also important and very important that the security of the area. And I say this, having been in that area and understanding the politics surrounding Laikipia and Nyandarua County. The land which is occupied by Kenyans is literally 1/8 of the total land which is available in Laikipia County. Most of the land there is occupied by foreigners. who have got more than 100,000 acres of land. So when I heard Senator Faki saying that the land is there, it's just that it has not been subdivided for these people to be compensated. I said, yeah, my friend, there's something you are missing out there. There is more than meet the eye on that land which is available there. There are people who are sitting pretty in London, in the Netherlands, with a title deed of more than 100,000 acres of land in Laikipia County. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this motion. And once again, I commend the distinguished senator from Mombasa for actually having given this Senate work. Because if it is not for his reports, if you look at the order paper, Mr. Speaker, we have about 8 bills which are supposed to be passed. But look around. You know, on this side of the House, we have 3 senators. The other side, we have few senators. And Mr. Speaker, I think we can only be taken seriously if we take our job seriously. Thank you.
I now call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I thank Senator Murango for seconding this motion. I also want to thank my whip, Senator Olekina, for contributing to the motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, the contributions by Senator Olekina to incorporate them in our implementation matrix so that we can be able to resolve this matter once and for all. Mr. Speaker, sir, the issue of IDPs needs to have a closure. The land which I talked about is land which has already been bought by the government to settle the IDPs. What the Minister of Lands does not have is fund be able to allocate this land to the people. Mr. Speaker, sir, I see there's money in the Hustler Fund which can be used to settle these people, and it can be recoverable from as a loan to these people. I know most of them have Safaricom lines, and they can take advantage of this and be able to pay for the survey and subdivision so that every one of them gets a title, and thereafter we close this matter of the IDPs. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that these were the 3 petitions which I have read, reports which I have read, Mr. Speaker, were filed in 2023. And I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the committee and on behalf of the Senate to apologize to the petitioners, because they have taken so long that they were not able to conclude, but we have been able to conclude them within 6 months from the date we were appointed into this committee. I want to also commend my committee members for the hard work that they have put in this. We went to, when we went to Nyandarua, we came back to Nakuru at about 8 p.m. in the night. At that time, we had not thought of maybe acquiring air transport so that we could move faster and be back to Nairobi without wasting a lot of time on the road. So by the time we were arriving in Nairobi, it was past 11 p.m., Mr. Speaker. That was a lot of sacrifice that the members had given to this work, which we were able to conclude. So I want to take this opportunity to apologize to the petitioners, but now we have their reports ready and they'll be given to them. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that pursuant to Standing Order number 66-3, the putting of the question be deferred to the next, to another date. Thank you.
Very well. The putting of the question has been deferred. Chair Lance, I want to also appreciate your work, because in the Rason Committee you have been toiling on the petitions that are surpassed almost 3 years without concluding them. So I want to thank you and your committee, and still to request you to keep the spirit on, because most of the petitions are on land. Most of the statements are also on land issues. So keep up the good work. Next on.
Order number 21, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment, Self-Help Group regarding land ownership dispute in the Mwananchi Settlement Scheme in Mwatate constituency in Taita Taveta County.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Wananchi Self-Help Group regarding the land ownership dispute of Wananchi Settlement Scheme in Mwatate constituency in Taita Taveta County, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 7th of October, 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, this dispute is located in Taita Taveta County, and we visited the land sometimes in April, I think. Mr. Speaker, sir, this petition was brought to this House on the 18th of February, and it was read by the Speaker on the same date. Mr. Speaker, sir, this land was acquired by the government, and they came up with the Wananchi Settlement Scheme in Mwatate constituency of Taita Taveta County. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, the original owner of the land, that is Mwananchi Development Company, Mwananchi Ranching Company, filed a case in the High Court at Voi, where they complained that their land had been sold fraudulently to the government through the settlement fund trustees. And as a result, the High Court gave a judgment that all the titles which had been issued through the settlement scheme be cancelled and the people be evicted. A total of 1,322 people had been allocated land in that area. The total acreage of the land is 9,070 hectares, and most of the people, Mr. Speaker, sir, had already settled. Some were doing mining, some were doing farming, and so on and so forth. So we visited the land and we had representations from the petitioners and the community, and thereafter we did our investigations. However, in the course of the investigations, the Attorney General also applied on behalf of the Settlement Fund trustees and the Minister of Lands to be allowed to appeal the decision of the High Court. And they were granted leave to appeal, and now the appeal is pending before the Court of Appeal in Mombasa. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, our report, in view of the fact that the matter is also pending before the High Court, we have been able to make some recommendations which, if implemented, will be able to take care of the concerns that the petitioners had over this issue. That the committee intervenes, and the prayers that they sought were the committee intervenes and investigates the matter with a view to ensure that the area residents are adequately compensated. So there's an ongoing matter in the Court of Appeal. This is an application which was filed on 20th of June 2025 by the Attorney General on behalf of the Minister of Lands and Residents, and the matter now is pending before the Court of Appeal. The second prayer, the committee inquires into the matter and makes appropriate recommendations on the irregular transaction on LR number 12924, situated in Mwatate constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, there's an ongoing civil appeal case, and therefore that ties our hands. We cannot also go into the investigations on this until the matter is determined by the court. The last prayer was that the committee inquires into the matter and makes legislative interventions relating to the land transfer and acquisition processes to ensure that innocent Kenyans are protected. The committee noted that concerns of the petitioners regarding safeguards to ensure the petition protection of right to acquire and own property, and will address the arising legislative interventions progressively. Mr. Speaker, sir, what happened in this case was a clear case of fraud, where people pretended to be the owners of the land through a company called Mwananchi Development Company. And they sold that land to the government through the settlement fund trustees. The government then subdivided the land into 12-acre plots and allocated the land to the residents, who paid a sum of about 35,000 per per plot of 12 acres. So the owner of the land came to realize that people have settled on his land, and now he went to court and sued the government. Unfortunately, the government did not file a defense in time, and the residents were not aware of the pendency of this case. As a result, an ex parte judgment was given, and now they went back to the court to be able to be given an opportunity to be heard. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe the court is now seized of the matter, and as a committee, we should allow the court to deal with the matter to its logical conclusion. However, there are some recommendations which you have made, one of which was that the EACC comes in, the EACC and DCI come in to investigate whether those people who sold the land to the Ministry of Lands through the Settlement Fund trustees had adequate title or had a good title to pass on to the government, because it appears they may not have had the requisite documents to be able to sell to the government. Number two, the Ministry of Lands and Public Housing, Public Works and Housing ensures that the immediate suspension of any ongoing transactions, any transactions that are supposed to be recorded on these parcels of land should now cease, so that they preserve the land as it is. Number three, the National Land Commission should carry out investigations to establish the legitimacy of ownership of the land, parcel number LR number 12924, and if there are any arising irregularities, a report be made to the Senate within a period of 90 days. Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that the Senate adopts this report, and I'll invite my brother, Senator Murango, to second this report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Murango.
Asante sana Mr. Speaker. Mkono ripoti iliyosomwa na mwenyekiti wa kamati husika. Mr. Speaker, kitu ya kushangaza ni kwamba tunapotaka kujua mbivu na bichi wakati tunanunua mashamba, tunaenda kwa ofisi ya serikali, Wizara ya Mashamba. Mr. Speaker, ile wizara ndo inahusika kupeana hati miliki, ndio inahusika wakati tunataka kujua shamba ni la nani. Sasa kitu sijaelewa ni vipi wizara yenyewe ambayo iko na stakabadhi na uwezo ndio ilikuja ikauziwa shamba na wakora. Mimi nafikiria kwamba wala wakora lazima wako katika wale wakora waliouza ile shamba, kulikuwa na mpango fulani ambapo pia wizara ilikuwa inajua. Na ndio ningetaka niseme ya kwamba ni vizuri kungamua mbichi na mbivu ijulikane ilinunuliwa namna gani wakati huo.
Tuesday, 7th October 2025. Senator Ndama Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, let me just briefly do my job and congratulate the good senator for Mombasa yet again for being out there to support these citizens, petitioners who have come to this house to seek refuge, to say we need to be settled. Mr. Speaker, it becomes very difficult when the government carries out a transaction. When it carries out the transaction, the owner of the land proceeds to court, and that matter, which is in a public interest, is not publicized for the citizens to know that there is a matter in court, and they get expedited orders. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the judiciary that whenever a matter is brought before them that touches on public interest, touches on land matters, the first question that they should ask the petitioner is whether he has notified the public or require that an advert is put in all the dailies, including the vernacular radio stations of where these people live, so that people can be able to understand. Put it on the internet. This business of running to court and getting expedited orders or expertise orders should be something of the past. It is like going to the chambers and just getting an order. Yet land is something that affects people. Mr. Speaker, when you talk about Taita Taveta, it's yet another county where a few individuals own huge chunks of land, while the real owners of that land, the Kenyans on that place, are landless. Mr. Speaker, there'll come a time when they too, the billionaires and those who own thousands and thousands of acres of land, will leave that land behind. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this motion, and I hope that yet again, appeal the decision. The judiciary will be keen to ensure that decisions are made on the ground. You know, we can just be innovative. And whenever a matter, and this I speak to the judiciary, I don't know if I'm qualified to speak to them, but I'll just give them my 2 cents. And it's up to them to take them or not. But as a person who is elected to represent the interests of the people, my advice to the judiciary is that sometimes let us be completely unorthodox. When it comes to the issues of the land, let us go to the site, let us deal with the matters on site, so that those people who are affected will not now come back and go to court and say, this person went to court, you gave them orders, we are not aware. It is also important, Mr. Speaker, and this is something that all of us must now think about. If a matter is already in court, and we know very well that we cannot deal with it here in Parliament because of the Constitution, the Secretariat must advise the citizens who come here to file petitions, yet matters are in court. Or we use our legal department in Parliament to do a quick scan of all matters that are in court, to write to the judiciary and find out whether the matter is currently active in court. And if it is active in court, advise the petitioners on the steps to take. Because we are here to listen to everyone. And we are going to make sure that we listen to everyone, we give them an opportunity. So I thank the Lands Committee for the work that they have done. I wish all committees would expedite all the petitions. You know, I heard the Speaker saying that in the Liaison Committee they are struggling with the petition. It's the same thing with statements. I believe each committee is handling about 100+ statements. When will we ever give justice? When will we ever be able to read those statements, interrogate, carry out investigation, and come up with conclusive decisions? So the other committees, I want to urge you to also move expeditiously. I'd rather I spend the whole day here, sit, even if I'll sit alone, and comment on those reports. Because at least it will show that we are doing our job. Because where are you now? I mean, this is where you're supposed to be. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I now call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank Senator Murango for seconding this motion, and also want to thank Senator Olekina for contributing to this motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, when the petitioners came to this court, to this house, they had reached a dead end because the court had already given a decision to have them have their titles cancelled, and the government, through the Attorney General, were a bit reluctant to pursue an application in the Court of Appeal to be able to set aside the judgment which had been issued. And I believe that is because of their lethargy on their part, because they must have been given an opportunity to defend, but they never filed their defense in time. So, Mr. Speaker, as a result of the petition coming to this House, we were able to pressurize the Office of the Attorney General through the Minister of Lands to be able to take up the matter and apply for appeal and appeal the matter in the Court of Appeal. And that's how the appeal came to being. And they were given leave, they were given a stay of execution, they have been given leave now to appeal, and the matter is now pending appeal before the Court of Appeal. Coming back to this petition, Mr. Speaker, sir, we indeed were able to forestall the eviction of these 1,322 people who had already settled in the farm in Mwananchi, Mwananchi Ranch, and in a way we have been able to at least assist the petitioners to be able to get the matter heard before the Court of Appeal. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the report be adopted. I beg to reply, and I apply that under Standing Order number 66.3, the putting of the question be deferred to a later date. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to move these 4 reports.
Very well. The putting of the question has been defined. Now we go to the next one. Yes, Senator Morango.
Mr. Speaker, naona haki ndio haijatimia ili kuweza kuendelea na kikao. Ndio
Senator Morango, just hold your horses. Okay, I want to Clerk, do you have the column? Can you confirm? So Sanjay Tata, I'm ringing the column bell for 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Sergeant Adams, ring the bell again for another 5 minutes. Kurambeo. Kuja.
Speaker, we are going on record.
Clerk, can you confirm the quorum? Can you? It's not here. Okay. You can proceed now. We have quorum, it's confirmed. Senator Kathuri Murungi, can you please I've already confirmed that. I confirmed already. So we are not repeating that confirmation. Honorable Senators, I'm deferring order number 18, order number 8 to order number 17, and I direct the clerk to call out order number 22.
Order number 22, motion, report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on implementation of the Senate resolution on the current state of the nation made on Wednesday, 24th July, 2024.
Chairperson, National Cohesion. Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration. Senator Kamau, are you the chairperson?
Chair, I'm
or
standing
you're
on
a
behalf
member?
Of, I'm a member of the Cohesion Committee.
Proceed.
I'm therefore standing on behalf of my chair.
Proceed.
Report on the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on implementation of the Senate resolution on the current state of the nation made on Wednesday, 24th July, 2024. That the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on implementation of the Senate resolution on the current state of the nation made on 24th July 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday 3rd June 2025. Honorable Speaker, I call upon Senator Cherargei to second.
Senator Kamau, can you please approach the chair? Please give the report to the senator.
Honorable Speaker, that the Senate adopts the report on the Standing Committee of the current state of the nation made on Wednesday, 24th July 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 3rd June 2025. Honorable Speaker, a sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, 24th July 2024, the Senate adopted a resolution of the current state of the nation, part of which directed the Standing Committee on the National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration, 1, 2, engage the Public Service Commission on the National Cohesion and Integration Commission on audit of the state of employment of the public service, including county government, and propose strategies to adhere to equality opportunities across the public service as espoused in the Article 232 of the Constitution of the Values and Principle of Public Service. Number 2, engage the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority to audit compliance with Section 53(6) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal by all public procurement entities with a view of establishing a roadmap to ensure compliance of the said provision of the Act. Honorable Speaker, the committee embarked on the assignment hereupon invited, held a deliberation with the governors and key officials of the 47 counties government under the following thematic areas. Madam Speaker, thematic area 1, a demographic compensation of employments of the county government in terms of gender, person with disability, age, and ethnicity. Thematic area 2, the demographic composition of the county executive committee members of the chief officers in terms of gender, person with disability, age, and ethnicity. C, thematic area 3, any recruitment conducted by the county in the last 3 years, outturning position that have been filled and criteria applied in the selection of candidates. Thematic 4, the status of compliance by the county with Section 53(6) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, Cap 412C. Thematic area 5, affirmative action measures being implemented by the county in the promotion of women, youth, persons with disability, in recruitment and leadership. Thematic area 6, the audit of assessment that was undertaken in the last 3 years to ascertain the level of inclusivity in the recruitment process. Madam Speaker, the committee also invited and held deliberations with the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority regarding compliance by public entities with Section 53(6) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act with a view of establishing a roadmap to ensure compliance with the said provision of the Act. Madam Speaker, the committee further held a deliberation with the National Cohesion and Integration Commission regarding the ethnic and diversity audit of the county public service carried out by the Commission. In total, the committee held 32 meetings where it received oral submission and written memorandum from the county governors and Public Procurement Regulatory Authority and the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. The committee thereafter retreated to have the submission received, whereupon it arrived on an observation. Recommendations are set out in the report. Honorable Speaker, the key recommendations by the committee are as follows. 1. Thematic area. Democratic promotion of the employees by the county governance in terms of gender, person with disability, age, and ethnicity. The committee recommended as follows. 1. That Mandera, Nandi, and Wajir counties governor should appoint the required number of women, comply with the constitution requirement, and not more than 2/3 of the members of appointed bodies shall be of the same gender. No more than 2/3 of gender principle with 18 months of tabling of this report. The county government that are compliant should put policies in place to continue to adhere to the constitution requirements. Number 2, that all county governments should comply with the provision of Article 54(2) and Section 13 of the Person with Disability Act and take affirmative action urgently to employ persons with disability to comply with the constitution requirement to serve 5% of appointed position in county public service within 18 months of tabling this report. Noting that none of the county government is compliant with the provision of the law, the county government should liaise with the National Council for Persons with Disabilities during recruitment and selection of the pool of qualified persons with disability applicants. Number 3, that the 32 county government that failed to comply with the requirement should ensure that at least 30% of the vacant positions are filled by candidates who are not from the dominant ethnic community in the county by putting deliberate measures in place to comply with the diversity requirement within 18 months of tabling the report. These county governments are Kwale, that has 75.2%, Kilifi, that has 79%, Wajir, 91.05%, Mandera, 81.4%, Meru, 90%, Kitui, 90%, Machakos, 85%, Makueni, 92.63%, Nyandarua, 93.66%, Nyeri with 93.66% Kikuyu. Kirinyaga has 96% Kikuyu, Muranga has 93% Kikuyu, Samburu has 96.65% Samburu. Uasin Gishu has 85% Kalenjin. Garissa has 80.15% of Somalis. Elgeyo Marakwet has 96.22% of Kalenjin. Nandi as well has 95.67 Kalenjin. Baringo 92.93% of Kalenjin. Laikipia 70.06% of Kikuyu. Kajiado, Masai 70.53%. Bomet has 97.28% of Kalenjin. Kakamega has 90.68% of Luya. Bungoma has 83.6% of Luhya. Vihiga as well has 89.79% of Luhya. Kisumu has 87.69% of Luo. Homa Bay 96 76.98% of Luo. Migori has a total of 71.77% of Luo. Kisii has 94.28% of Kisis. And Nyamira has 95% of Kisis. Madam Speaker, that all the county government should use alternative means of job advertisement, such as national and local vernacular radio stations, social media, and local leaders to reach a wider pool of candidates while doing targeted civic education and advertising the recruitment opportunities. Number 5, that all the county government should use target job advertisement, encouraging minority communities, youth, women, persons with disability to apply and be considered. Thematic area 2 was talking about demographic compensation of the county executive committee members of the chief officers in terms of gender, persons with disability, age, and ethnicity. The recommendations are as follows: that the following county government, namely Kisumu, Kisii, Isiolo, Nyeri, Laikipia, Wajir, and Embu counties should comply with the constitutional requirement that not more than 2/3 of the members of the opposite bodies shall be of the same gender. Not more than 2/3 gender principle in the composition of county executive committee members and county chief officers. Number 2, that the 42 county government that failed to comply with the constitutional requirement to reserve 5% of appointed position county executive committee members and chief officers, into bracket, in the county public service to person with disability are required to comply with the law within 18 months of tabling this report, with the exception of Lamu that has 5%, Taita Taveta has 8.7%, Wajir 6.45%, Turkana 6.06%, and Nandi 5.26%, county government that complied with the constitutional requirement to serve the 5% requirements. Madam Speaker, number 3, that the county government should put in place policies of guidelines, that all the county government should put in place policies and guidelines that guarantee the inclusion of youth and marginalized groups in the county executive leadership position. That the Senate amends the County Government Act to provide the number of timeline for appointment of chief officers following gubernatorial election. Number 5, Madam Speaker, county government of Elgeyo Marakwet, Kericho, Makueni, Nyandarua, and Vihiga, which had county executive committee members and county chief officers exclusively from dominant ethnic community in their counties, should adhere to the constitutional requirement of diversity and inclusivity and take immediate measures not less than 18 months upon tabling of this report in the Senate to comply with the requirement that at least 30% of the vacant position are filled by candidates who are not from the dominant ethnic community in the country. Honorable Speaker, thematic area 3, recruitment and conducted by the county government in the last 3 years, the positions that have been filled and criteria applied in the selection of number 1, that all county governments should strictly adhere to the existing legal frameworks, including the National Cohesion and Integration Act and the County Government Act, to ensure compliance with the law in the recruitment of public service management. Additionally, County Public Service Board must comply with Section 66, 67, and 68 of the County Government Act, which outline consideration and appointment of the requirement for wide application of advertisement, position, and proper maintenance of recruitment records. Number 2, that all county government should take immediate measures to ensure the accessibility of the job advertisement through diversifying their means of advertisement by utilizing social media platform, national radio station and TV station, and use of local leaders to help reach out pool of candidates, including special interest groups. Madam Speaker, number 3, that the County Public Service Board should put in place guidelines and policies that should guide at least 30% of vacant entry-level positions are filled by candidates who do not belong to the dominant ethnic community in the country. As required under Section 65(1)(e) of the County Government Acts, the measures will foster diversity and promote their representation of county employment. Thematic Area 4. The status of compliance by the county with Section 53(6) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, Cap 412C. The committee recommendations are as follows. The 22 county governments that failed to comply with Section 53(6) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act on reservation of 30% of procurement for special group should take deliberate measures to ensure compliance within 12 months of table of this report in the Senate. These county governments are Mombasa, Kwale, Wajir, Isiolo, Meru, Embu, Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, Nyeri, Kiambu, Turkana, Nandi, Baringo, Nakuru, Samburu, Narok, Kericho, Vihiga, Migori, Nyamira, and Nairobi. Number 2, to ensure compliance with 30% of access to government procurement opportunities, that is into bracket AGPO, requirement by the county government that fall below the threshold should implement target intervention to increase procurement opportunities for special groups, including sensitization, campaign, and capacity building program. Moreover, the Council of Governors should encourage sharing of best practices among county government by replicating successful county-specific procurement initiatives, such as Trans Nzoia Nawiri program to ensure local empowerment. Additionally, the practice from the county government with remarkable compliance, such as Lamu and Elgeyo Marakwet, should be studied to adopt where applicable to improve compliance and effectiveness of the government procurement. Number 3, that the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority should report to the Senate on access to government procurement opportunities, procurement performance at the end of every financial year. Number 4, that all county governments should develop and implement affirmative action program while carrying out benchmarking with their better performing counterparts in order to comply with Section 53(6) of the Public and Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Number 5, that all county executives should strictly adhere to Sections 157(12) of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act. Thematic Area 5, it was about the affirmative action measures being implemented by the county in promotion of women, youth, and persons with disability in requirement and leadership. The committee recommendations are as follows. That all county governments should have in place and implement affirmative action policies prioritizing the empowerment of persons with disability, women, minority groups, in line with the national policies, including the following policies. A, an internship and capacity building policy. B, gender mainstreaming policy. C, disability mainstreaming policy. D, requirement and selection policy. E, youth and ICT policy. Number 2, that all county governments should develop a county minority register to track minority and marginalized community within the county while fully implementing the affirmative action policies in place. The thematic Area 6 was about the audit of assessment undertaken in the last 3 years to ascertain the level of inclusivity in the recruitment process. The recommendations are as follows. 1, the Senate to organize capacity building program for county assemblies that would enable them to effectively play their oversight role by ensuring that the county executive comply with the law specifically on ethnic diversity and inclusivity during recruitment and promotion of employment. Access to government procurement in line with Section 12(7), 35(2), and 97A of the County Government Acts 2012 and 53(6) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. Other recommendations are: the committee further recommended as follows. The County Public Service Board should prepare and implement a county implementation equity plan for the purpose of eliminating ethnic imbalance. 2, that all county governments should liaise with the IGRTC and Council of Governors to implement standardized county-level recruitment guidelines, career progression policies, transition framework, salary structure, and ensure consistent and equitable employment processes counties to better their infrastructure to attract professionalism. Number 3, that the County Public Service Board should be empowered to fulfill their mandate without undue process from county and national leadership. Number 4, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority should be adequately resourced to monitor and enforce compliance with the scheme, introducing administrative sanctions on procurement entities to enforce compliance. Honorable Speaker, the committee wishes to thank the Office of the Speaker of the Senate and the Office of the Clerk of the Senate for the support extended to the committee in the execution of its mandate. The committee further extends its appreciation to governors who appeared before the committee and provided invaluable information. The committee also appreciates the technical support accorded to it by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, and the Regulatory Authority, PPRA. Finally, I thank the fellow senators for their oversight and thoughtful participation in inquiry and their dedication to the objective of inquiry. The appreciation also goes to the dedicated Secretariat who actively participated in proceeding of the committee's meeting. Honorable Speaker, it is now my pleasure, duty, and privilege on behalf of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity, and Regional Integration Committee to table the report on the committee on its consideration of the Senate resolution of the current state of the nation and the committee and to commend it to the House for debate and adoption pursuant to the provision of the Senate Standing Order 223-6. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Who is your seconder?
I wish to call upon Honorable Senator Cherargei to second.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to commend Senator Kituku for giving the House elaborate move on what the report entails. Madam Speaker, as I rise to second, you and me were on the floor of the House when, under the guidance of Leader of Majority and Leader of Minority, the House came up with a joint motion between the minority and majority side to discuss the state of the nation. This was as precursor of the Gen Z protest that happened in June 2024 over the state of governance in the country and the issue of Finance Bill 2024. So, Speaker, you remember the resolution of the House is that each and every standing committee, including sessional committees, Madam Speaker, were assigned with the work of follow-up of the Committee of the Resolutions. The National Cohesion and Integration, Madam Speaker, was given the tasks of following up on the issue of inclusivity, ethnic diversity, issues of public procurement and disposal, Madam Speaker, and audit of the diversity in terms of gender parity across the country. Madam Speaker, I was here in the morning when you were following up on the issue of IDPs in the country and their compensation. And I agree with you largely. The unfortunate part is you are interrogating somebody who is incompetent, and therefore he could not even comprehend what you are asking. I wish he would have listened and understand what you have, because the precursor of this, if we don't have gender parity, if we don't have ethnic diversity, if we do not have inclusivity, if we do not have equal opportunities, the resultant violence, the resultant IDPs, the resultant, the country becomes unstable. There will be no rule of law, democracy, and human rights. So what you are asking is that to rewrite an injustice that has been committed, we must have a transparent and accountable compensation. And your question is simple. Because compensation only does not mean to the IDPs of post-election violence or protest. It involves even my people in Serengoni and Ngetipkom who have been evicted. Compensation to forest evictees. Madam Speaker, you are aware, and you are sure with your illustrious career, there are what we call nowadays infrastructural evictees. People who their land is grabbed and they are evicted, especially in major towns. We were discussing Jamhuri Park. We are discussing the issues where policies affect. You remember during COVID, some Kenyans in Ruai were evicted at the middle of the night. Those are what you call infrastructural evictees. So the IDPs, forest evictees, infrastructural evictees, we need to, and I want to inform you, Madam Speaker, and the House, that some senior officials within the Ministry of Interior are eating those money. Because if you ask them how many IDPs we have settled, they operate, how many IDPs have been given land, how many have been given money. That is why he was just giving a story that was not neither there, Madam Speaker. We need to be told. If it is 1,000 families, how many were given land? How much acreage? Compensation to what? That is what you are asking, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, some of us who are brilliant do not serve in those offices. We would have answered you with the necessary information because they say information. So the reason I'm linking that, Madam Speaker, is what we are having. If we want to cure IDPs and many others, we must have inclusivity, ethnic diversity, ethnic inclusivity, gender parity. And I just want to make a few comments so that my colleagues can contribute, Madam Speaker. On the issue of, I want to thank the committee and to thank Senator Joseph Kituku, the distinguished senator of Lamu, for ably moving, of the great people of Lamu, for ably moving, Madam Speaker, this report. I think out of the reports that were referred under State of the Nation, and I hope, because at that time, Madam Speaker, no one was safe. This parliament was attacked. We were no longer safe as a ruling class until we sat and spoke about the state of the nation. Now we want to report back to the country that when you went on the streets, especially the young people, and say, in your county, there is no ethnic diversity. In your county, there are no opportunities, Madam Speaker. Yesterday, I was moving my motion on the issue of Public Service Commission interns. We were asking, in fact, the recommendations that were made, Madam Speaker, is that let us ensure every ward in this country is given allocation of internship under Public Service Commission, not only in the public sector, in the private sector, and stakeholders. Even there were proposals that we must have what we call tax incentives to private sector to take over young people. Those are the opportunities that young people want, Madam Speaker. That is the inclusivity, Madam Speaker. And I want to say very well, Madam Speaker, that yesterday I said unequivocally that many people don't know the segregation of the young people. There are young people who did not go to school, but they are doing business, they are in border sector, they are farmers. Madam Speaker, secondly, there is a group of young people who still want to go to school. They want bursary, they want the scholarships, they want to read. And then there is a third group of young people in this country who have gone to school, they have degrees, they have diploma, they have certificates. And that is why this aspect of inclusivity, we must look it through the prism eyes, through the 3D, Senator Kituku, so that our young people can understand there is inclusivity. And therefore, from thematic 1, Madam Speaker, on the issue of gender, persons, PWDs, it is unfortunate that Nandi is ranking higher among the counties that we don't comply with gender parity. Madam Speaker, you have to note that Nandi have serious women of substance. You remember the 7 bearded sisters, Chelagat Mutai, Madam Speaker. It is a shame that Nandi cannot comply under Governor Sang on the issue of gender parity, Madam Speaker. Yet we have serious women of substance in Nandi. I can confirm to you, including my beloved mother, Madam Speaker. We have women who, it is unfortunate. For Mandera and Wajir, I can agree. Because you can allude to the fact of the values, the cultural values of those areas, Madam Speaker. And maybe other, but Nandi, where even the current president comes from. Madam Speaker, this is very unfortunate. And I hope in the next 90 days that the committee have recommended the governor of Nandi must come back and tell us what he's doing to ensure women. You know, you cannot say you love women by word of mouth. You must love women through actions. And the Bible says action speaks louder than words. I always hear my governor that he says he loves women. But Kumbe does not, sorry for you, it does not reflect on the performance on this report, Madam Speaker. Number two, Madam Speaker, on the PWDs, at least 32, imagine, Madam Speaker, it's embarrassing. In fact, if former Vice President, your good friend, Moody Awori, Madam Speaker, Moody Awori, where we were and we celebrated, I'm happy you mentioned him on the floor of the House in Busia County Assembly. If he hears today Moody Awori, the distinguished, and I saw him the other way, he's still very strong and wish him long life and good health. If he hears 32 county governments have not complied on the issue of PWDs, he must be very he must be very mad. Because this 5%, 32, that is more than 3/4 of the county, of the country. 32 county colleagues, this should cause an alarm among us as leaders. Where do we put our PWD people, Madam Speaker? People living differently ably. It is unfortunate that 32 of them, 32 counties did not comply to ensure that there was an aspect of PWDs, Madam Speaker. And that is why this one should, I'm happy, the report says 18 months tabling of this report. The other aspect is also 32 on the issue of ethnic diversity. More than 32 or more than 30, Madam Speaker, of county governments are employing people from only dominant, did not fail, Madam Speaker. Are we turning county governments to be ethnic conclave, Madam Speaker? Are we turning our county governments to be area? I'm happy, I think Lamu is better. It's more cosmopolitan, Madam Speaker. Why are we turning our counties into ethnic cosmopolitan? Madam Speaker, there is a principle in biology called cross-pollination. You must ensure that the cross-pollination to improve the quality of genealogy, Madam Speaker. And if you had some tribes, Madam Speaker, if you intermarry within a particular lineage or blood, the gene or the children likely to be born, Madam Speaker, and you are better than this because you are a mother, will likely suffer from some deformities. Why are we allowing our county governments to become ethnic headquarters? Why is it that when I go to Kisumu, to Nandi, to Kisii, to Mandera, to Garissa, the entire over 80%, 90% of the population, Madam Speaker, in the workforce of a county government only speaks one language. Madam Speaker, it should be a conscience that should awake this nation, Madam Speaker. When you leave Francis Mboga, betrayal in the city, if something disturbs a man, it should disturb the conscience of this nation, Madam Speaker. To paraphrase Francis Mboga, betrayal in the city. I'll skim through, Madam Speaker. At least the worst, I can just mention two. My colleagues has done very well. Kwale leads with Michiganda 75.5, Kilifi, Wajir. In fact, Wajir is worse. They are doing at 91.0%. And the governor, the chairman of Council of Governors, who happens to be your friend, you plan the devolution conference, as 91, he can do his cabinet meeting and even briefing with the staff with his local dialect, the Somali. But I'm Speaker, Mandera, Meru. Unfortunately, the Deputy Speaker has left. He should tell us why 90% of Meru can only speak one language. But I'm Speaker, Bomet is 97.2. We are doing badly. I'm sampling per region. Even I can another sample, Elgeyo Marakwet is 96.2 Kalenjin. I'll just sample a few, Madam Speaker. In fact, Muranga, Kikuyu 93.7%. Madam Speaker, and Migori is doing at 71.1%, and Homa Bay, Madam Speaker, we are doing badly. Madam Speaker, the way to cure, because Madam Speaker, I've sat in most of the committees, and I know cohesion, this was a question you asked. Madam Speaker, when you ask governors, how do you recruit? When you ask county public service, they say we put out the national newspaper of circulation. But why don't use the local vernacular? They can use Kameme. They can use Voka FM. They can use Kas FM. Or even Kitwek FM, Madam Speaker. They can use Moga FM, Madam Speaker. The local vernacular. When you ask them, they only use Standard, Star, and maybe Nation. They need to improve on security. And even most of their website, Madam Speaker, sorry to say this, are dormant. They are no longer functional. I can challenge you, Senator Gitugu, try and access website of LAM. You will get the last update was in 2016. How do you ensure there is access? This is the era of digital age, Madam Speaker. On thematic number 2, I think on the people of issue of PWDs, the chief officers and executive members, Madam Speaker, it is unfortunate also the PWD, I'm happy Lamu. By the way, this is impressive, and like other information, Taveta has complied, Wajir, Turkana, and Nandi. I think this is the only time Nandi is getting right on the issue of PWDs of the 5%. And I hope when one of the champions of prisoners and issue of PWDs, you have to appreciate to me, in Disability Act of 2003 was Angomudi Awari. Madam Speaker, on the issue of others, the bottom line, maybe Elgeo Marakwet, Kiricho Makweni, and Nyandarwa, and I hope my friend and Viga, Makweni Governor Mutula can listen to that. Number 3, Madam, running through. In the last applied, this we have agreed, Madam Speaker, that this advertisement should be done at any given. Thematic 4, I'm running through the status with section. This is where I wanted to come to, Madam Speaker. I'm driving it home, hot and sharp. Madam Speaker, you know, Madam Speaker, the pass of this Public Procurement and Disposal Act, CAP 412C, was a progressive law. Madam Speaker, this law was progressive. The reason young people went and demonstrated after the protest of 20 Kusalamia, they say we want to go and Salamia a governor, it's because of lack of opportunities. Madam Speaker, imagine 22 county governments failed to comply with Section 53(6) of the Public Procurement on 30% on procurement opportunities. For special groups, this is embarrassment. Madam Speaker, this is embarrassment. This is an embarrassment, Madam Speaker. Because how will the young people, and I want to challenge the office of the Attorney General, the state law office, these companies that are awarded contracts and tenders in our counties are cronies of governors. At least for Inandi, I know that. Are cronies of the senior officials in Madam Speaker, in these entities, Madam Speaker. So this law has been violated, colleagues. Why should we say, I don't know when I'm picking it up, I'm picking the heat up. Madam Speaker, why should we say youth are complaining? Why do you say young people are restless? If 22 county governments cannot give 30% of their procurement opportunities to young people, how don't you expect young people to come and demonstrate against us? How? This is shameful, Madam Speaker. These counties are 22. One is Mombasa, Kwale, Wajir, Isiolo, Meru, Embu, Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, Nyeri, Kiambu, Turkana, Nandi. Nandi, my county. This is shame. The young people of Nandi are very enterprising. They want these opportunities. But under Masang maladministration, they have destroyed the future of the young people, Madam Speaker. Even Baringo, Nakuru, Samburu, Narok, Kericho, Vihiga, Migori, Nyamira, Nairobi. This is shameful, Madam Speaker. How can you expect, Madam Speaker, young people not to protest if we cannot give them opportunities? How don't you expect? In fact, Nairobi is the worst. Nairobi is only 10.7. This county, I want to say this without fear of contradiction. This county of Nairobi City County should be handed over to NMS. Should be handed over to NMS, Madam Speaker. Should be handed over to NMS, this county government of Nairobi. Are you work, Madam Speaker? You drive even Kilimani potholes. If you even drive an SUV, you will disappear in a pothole here in Nairobi. Just within the CBD, Kirinyaga Road, the surfaces have gone to the dogs, Madam Speaker, and I must be put on NMS because the people in charge of Nairobi City County, the governor, has failed and abrogated in the duty of managing this city. And even think of amending the constitution so that we can take Nairobi to become metropolis and be managed at that level. Madam Speaker, with those many remarks, I want to say this is aside. Madam Speaker, as I was sitting, unfortunately yesterday, Madam Speaker, we have lost, one of the Tindred members of parliament aspirant by the name Shadrach Marati, Madam Speaker, got lost. We hope the government agencies will trace him. But the sad reality, Madam Speaker, that is creeping back to this country is intolerance, the abuse of law. Yesterday, when my people wanted to demonstrate in Maraba Center, in Tindred sub-county, Madam Speaker, live bullets were used, just near Kisumu, where you come from. A few weeks ago, 2 people were killed in Kimwani by live bullets, Madam Speaker. Where are we going as a country? There is an intolerance. A young man was clobbered by the name Ken Maswa in Kapseret constituency for having political divergence, Madam Speaker. I want to call the Ministry of Interior and state actors to arrest this political intolerance and police brutality so that we go ahead, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, this is a progressive report so that I allow my colleagues to proceed. This is, we hope all the committees, Madam Speaker, can bring their reports. With those very, very many remarks, with tremendous respect, I beg to second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on implementation of the Senate resolution on the current state of the nation made on Wednesday, 24th July 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 3rd June 2025. Senator Ledama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I rise to contribute on this motion on the Committee of Cohesion and Equal Opportunities and Regional Integration, my views are completely unorthodox. I don't believe that I support the report of the committee in its entirety. I've listened to my colleagues contribute, and I'm baffled because I wonder, when my colleagues say that county government must comply, that they must develop other alternative, other means of advertising for jobs so that PWDs can be able to come and work there, so that other ethnic groups can be able to go and work in other counties. The question is, why would a county government develop this new technique of calling people from other counties to come and work in that county, yet the people in that county are jobless? Mr. Speaker, let us not kid ourselves. You know, we are too quick. And I know this came out of the State of the Nation address. But let us be factual. Today, our county governments are not providing job opportunities for citizens of those counties. They are not providing procurement opportunities for citizens of those counties. What I expected this committee would do is to develop a mechanism in which county governments can ensure that 100% of all the development contracts, of all the jobs that the county governments advertise, are serviced by the people from those counties, by the youth from those counties. And where the youth do not have the qualifications to be able to build roads, those county governments should come up with trainings to be able to make sure that they absorb the youth from those counties. Madam Speaker, I'm tired of this rural urban migration. In Nairobi, you will see a lot of the Luhya nation, Madam Speaker, if I can just take as an example. You will see even the Maasai is also now coming to Nairobi, although Nairobi was ours, and it was taken away from us. But we come here, we look for jobs to become watchmen. Both the Luhya nation and the Maasais are looking for jobs here in Nairobi to become watchmen. And then you come up with this thing that doesn't even consider the situation in our counties, and you tell us that where we have highly qualified young Maasai men and women who cannot be employed elsewhere, that we cannot employ them in our counties because we've hit the threshold of 70%. Mr. Speaker, I beg to differ. If we have Luhyas in Kakamega who are fully educated and can be able to occupy 100% of jobs in that county because they are the predominant community in that county, absorb them. And I'm not saying that we should not promote regional integration. We must. But can we first of all consider the people who are there? Where do you think they'll go and get jobs? If you now chase a young Luo boy from Kisumu and say, go to Nairobi or go to Maasai Land and look for a job, and he's educated, he's got a PhD, but he cannot be employed there because of such policies. Sometimes these policies are retrogressive. Let us encourage. What I expected this committee to come up with, Mr. Speaker, are innovative measures of ensuring that we absorb everyone who is educated, qualified, Madam Speaker, in the counties that they live in. When you talk about devolution, Raila Amolo Odinga promoted this, really fought for devolution. I think what he had in mind was a nation that will be able to one day, if you are born in Narok, you live in Narok, you can work in Narok, you get married in Narok, you are buried in Narok, and you live in Narok, you go on holiday in Narok. It will be a county that will be able to accommodate everything. But not a county that you are born there, all you know is how to speak your mother tongue. But now I hear my colleague, Senator Chergey, saying that, oh, in Homa Bay, the county governor can carry out a session in a vernacular language. So what? It is our language. Why do we always forget about these issues of being truly African? I'm advocating for the time now where even if the best way we can be able to fight corruption is by Maasais and Kalenjin both speaking the same languages in the assemblies, where there are those two communities exist, like in Narok County, the most predominant community is a Maasai. That is where I was born. But of course, we also have our brothers, the Kalenjin. If we can speak both of those languages and even carry out parliament session in those two languages, what's the big deal? Maybe that might sink in deeper so that we protect our interests. So, Madam Speaker, I don't support the recommendation by this committee. I want us to find innovative measures of taking care of everyone. Don't discriminate against me because you've hit a mark of 70%. That now you cannot employ me because I'm Maasai and that Narok County has already hit 70%. No! Create jobs opportunities for me. Give me those jobs. The only thing that I probably would support this committee, Madam Speaker, and I was speaking to my good friend from Lamu, is that when it comes to the members of the PWD, the first thing that actually each county needs to do is to make sure that they have carried out a statistic and to know how many people are disabled who live in that county and enable them to form companies, give them trainings, ask them what they are capable of doing. If it is to build roads, support them in building roads. If it is working in industries, support them in getting the training necessary. Then, by default, that 5% can even be increased to 10% because we are able. Those are enable. Let's enable them so that they can also be able to have equal opportunities. Let's define the term equality to truly means enabling someone who does not have any other means to be able to survive and be equal like any other person who's got two legs. Madam Speaker, the thematic area, number one, on which the committee embarked on, which is the demographic composition of all employees of the county government in terms of gender, persons with disability, age, and ethnicity, is the only thing which I think we need to move further on to see that we have more women. In fact, we should have 50-50. In any county government, we should have 50% women working there, 50% men working there. That is the only thematic area that I think the recommendation by this committee are worth being discussed, Madam Speaker. But when it comes to the issue of tribal lines that you cannot now employ a Luo child to work in Kisumu because you've hit 70%, that is ridiculous. That is retrogressive. The second thematic area, the democratic composition of county executive committee members and chief officers in terms of gender, persons with disability, age, and ethnicity. I only support up to that section of age, not ethnicity. Because I will give you a good example. If you go to Narok County, we have 30 wards. In those 30 wards, by default, Madam Speaker, we have around 26 wards or 27 wards that in most cases, maybe one ethnic community will be able to dominate, and someone is elected there as a member of the county assembly. Now, when it comes to appointing someone as a CC, if you do not, you should first of all consider those two communities. In Narok, it is mostly the Maasais and the Kalenjins. And then when you come to the cosmopolitan area treated differently. Narok Town treated differently. Narok Town, we have every ethnic group. We have the Kambas, Kikuyus, Luyas, Luos, Maasais, everyone. Now, those ones, give them an opportunity so that they can also be able to represent their interests. Now, if you tell me that you're going to appoint a CC who is going to deal with agriculture, and that CC who is dealing with agriculture lives in Narok Town, what form of agriculture does that person know? Just because you want to fit this recommendation which are set by the national cohesion. Madam Speaker, today my views are completely unorthodox because other communities, like the Maasais, we've been discriminated upon, extreme measures, stigmatized for so long. It is now time for us also to demand our share. If you go to Kajiado County, Madam Speaker, this week we are talking about, in Kajiado County, we are talking about having the Maa Cultural Week. But guess what? Even during that week, those ones who will be given contracts to be able to provide tents, to be able to provide advertisement services are not people from that county. Then how are you supporting that economy? Madam Speaker, support an economy by building the citizens of that economy. Give them, do a current audit, say the person who was given a contract for advertisement are all from Narok, Kajiado, and Samburu, because it is about them. But now you'll find that maybe the big tents will be owned by somebody in Nairobi, a good friend of my sister, Karen Nyamu. And then comes in, get the tender to provide the tents. Today I know your name. So let us not continue lying here about this issue of integration. And we don't. Okay? We don't. Look at Nairobi as an example, Madam Speaker. I'll tell you. Nairobi is mwenye nguvu nipishe. In Nairobi, Madam Speaker, it depends on who has the ability.
What's your point of order, Senator Nyamu?
My point of order is under section, the Standing Order 41, We are just 2 senators in the House. We don't have quorum. Tit for tat.
Can the Secretariat confirm whether we have quorum? We don't have quorum. Can Sergeant Atam ring the bells for 10 minutes?